Yeah, buddy. It's time for them late night shows. Let me know if you're locked in and loaded to go. Do. Yeah, family tree. I'm actually doing the show. You know how I do shows. I really do shows for you guys, to be honest with you. So I'm inviting you guys to come onto the show. I am sending out some shots. Shots fired. Shots fired. So if we can get some of my Hebrew brothers to jump onto the panel. So we know we like the brothers like Ezra to come and jump on. We love the brothers like Ty to come and jump on. Any other Hebrews out there to come and jump in and jump on. I really think it's going to be more of a Hebrew-esque show today. My Christian brothers and sisters may just be sleeping at present because I know it's late, but I know my Hebrew brothers, for some strange reason, y'all be up till late hours of the morning doing mad shows. So I'd love for you guys to come on and have some fun with us. Yeah, like hit the like button, please, baby. Hit the like button. Let us know that you're here to support and love Titans TV, and you're here for good conversations, and you're here for your mind to be expanded a little bit, right? And if you're ready to jump onto the panel, let me know, family. Let me know. So far, we can see that we have haters up in the building. We've got 2 haters. So let us know if you are one of the haters in the comment section, right? So there's 2 people who hit the dislike button so far that I'm aware of. So if you are one of those 2 people, could you just please say, yep, it was me? Like, just be brave a little bit. Be brave. Don't hide. Just say, yeah, it was me. And let us know why you did it. Okay? But for everybody else who's hit the like button, like, let me know what position you are at present in the likes. Okay? So let me know, are you the 7th person? Are you the 8th person? What are you? Oh man. Yeah, rich kid. We all know it wasn't you. So let's get you onto the panel. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. All right. Light that boy up. Trust me. Like it up, baby. Like it up. So yeah, rich kid. Um, you've set a mad trend right about now because that show that you delivered was absolutely explosive. I want to know, like, what's the feedback? Has anybody got in contact with you? What people are saying, because that was powerful.
No, no one's really got in contact with me or nothing. I think my brother's been kind of watching the video, and he's just saying that. I think the one comment he said that I said that Prometheus was sacrificed or something like that. Could have said that, but I didn't mean like he was sacrificed like Jesus. I just meant the typologies of the stories were the same. That's the only feedback I've heard so far.
Okay, that's good. So yeah, family tree. I'm gonna be going in if none of you guys want to actually step up onto the plate. Well, it's good. Hey, A's up in the building. I did it because I'm free. I enjoy being a hater. Lol. I'm just joking. No, nah. No, I did not dislike. I know. The people that do dislike, they won't actually say. They will just keep quiet. They're the silent watchers of Titans TV. We like them. We like you guys. So anyway, all right. So let me just quickly send off some shots out there again, so we can get this whole Christian. It's really like Jews, Christians, Hebrews. But I know that my Muslim brothers might be feeling a bit lonely. So I've added you into the mix. So if you guys would like to come on and talk as well, feel free. Like, it's not a problem. Feel free to come on and talk, right? But yeah, like, we've been going on this whole thing, talking about the Hebrews, or the Israelites slash the Jews, or the Old Testament, or the Bible. Full stop. Is a brainchild, okay, or was inspired, influenced by Kemet and Kemetic philosophy, right? That's our claim. Like, the Bible, even the Quran, actually, even the Quran. So let me put it out there. So the Bible, the Quran, the Abrahamic faiths are all offsprings of Kemet. Okay, they're all offsprings of Kemet. They're all offspring of the Afro-Asiatic peoples. Them. Okay, so if you disagree, come on and let us know. If you disagree, if you agree, let us know. If you think it's half right, it's half false, let us know. Okay, but we shall be going into some excellent information, because we've got the Kabbalah master himself, Rich Kid, in here with us. So you really know the show's just going to be fire. All right, Rich Kid, let me know, like, how would you phrase it, actually? How would you phrase the relationship between Kemet and the Bible?
I would say, some people like to say, I think on the Committon side, that when they make the statement that the Bible was taken from Egyptian religion or culture, it's kind of like a big statement you're making, and you kind of have to prove that it was. I would say that there's aspects of Egyptian culture in the Bible, like the basic root framework, but then the stories got added and added with other different people's culture, so it became a bit tainted. But if we go to the root of it, then we can find Kemet in there. I mean, the very beginning of the Bible is a commission creation. You just have to kind of, if you study the Hebrew and you kind of start looking at the alphanumerics and what the letters were pertaining to, you will see that they go back to Egyptian gods.
Indeed, indeed. And this is nothing new. We're bringing this information, but it's nothing new, and it's not even like, how can I say it? We're not even saying it from like a Kemetic standpoint or an Egyptological framework or standpoint. This is Christian biblical scholars and Jewish biblical scholars that are literally saying what we're saying.
That's it.
And the worst thing about it is, like, we don't even have to make it up. We can just say, okay, we're just parroting what they're saying. Like,
yeah. And you know what, Kalam, to be honest with you, like, that show was kind of like, as you know yourself, you told me on Friday, and I kind of put it together like on Saturday. But I've got like lots of information to just put in the slide, but it's not really how I wanted to do it. I just kind of put it out there as a tester. It's like I moved the first pawn. But if my detractors want to come again, then I will go 9 levels deeper to show them the actual roots of where these things were coming from. So it's neither here nor there. It's child's play.
Yeah, no, I can't wait. I can't wait. I just can't wait. I'm just waiting for the right challenger to step up. Okay, so Miss Southeast says, why did Jesus go to Egypt? Times TV. It was for spiritual teaching. Yeah, from a biblical standpoint, it was to fulfill prophecy. Okay, from a biblical standpoint, it was to fulfill prophecy from what it was being stated. He was running away. Who was he running away from? Was it from Herod? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think it was Herod.
From Herod, and yeah, they went into Egypt. Okay, and of course, you're there. You're gonna be educated. Okay, you're gonna be schooled. You're gonna learn spirituality. You're gonna learn the educational system of either the Egyptians themselves or the Egyptianized Jews or the Egyptian Jews. Right? That's what you're gonna learn. That type of flavor is your early formative years. Right? So yeah, indeed.
And just to elucidate on that point, you know, High Priest Daniela.
Yep.
He actually came out one time and said that a lot of us, we read a lot of books, but we don't know about Celsus. But it's funny when he said that, because I'm like, well, I've read Celsus like 3 years ago, and Celsus don't really agree with a lot of the things that you say. Yeah. But even one of the things that Celsus said is that Jesus went to Egypt, learned magic, and then if you follow the verse down, he said it was also where the Jews learned circumcision in Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, either you're telling us to read Celsus and agreeing what he's saying, because what he is saying is conflicting with what you're saying.
So. You know, I don't know if you've got the opportunity to, but if you can bring that up so that people can actually see it. You know how powerful that is? It's always powerful when we just, like, that's the wickedest thing about us. Like, we can always provide receipts. A lot of the people that we speak to, all they have is talk.
That's it.
That's
verbal fideism. And this is the thing, Kalam, what I wanted to say. And it's not even, when you connect back to me and sent me your link and I saw you going to Hyde Park in the early days, I used to say to myself, what's this guy doing? I'm like, Hyde Park's finished, because I used to go there before. And then you start putting out videos and the corner start getting on, and people should give you your credit. You really put Hyde Park back on the corner. As you said before, you were the ones who were doing the live stream. And then every time I'm watching you and somebody would say something to you, you would just go, hold on a minute, let me go and get receipts. Every time you talk to the Muslims, it's verbal fideism. You have to go and provide receipts. And then when you provide the receipts, they still don't agree. What else can we do, Kalam? Tell me, please.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you feel that the world is a lost cause, you know? Sometimes. But on other days, when you know you have so many people that is inside of this chat section right now that love this information and they love doing their own personal research. They love growing. You know, even if it's like out of 100 people, just one person gets it,
Indeed,
like you know you've done
indeed,
your job.
indeed, and that's what we know. That's what we know.
Jeez. So what we saying, family? Where's Uncle Ty at? Where's Ezra at? Where's all my Hebrews and my Christians at? You know what? It's always best to actually, you know, critique Islam, because at least you know, like the Muslims, they love jumping on and love going back and forth, family. So we're saying, you know who all we need on here is Joe Haslam, yeah? Joe Haslam is like a child prodigy. Like he is out of this world, completely out of this world. Like, Joe, are you still up in here? Right? We need Joe to come on and share some wisdom with us. Oh no. Oh, you released a song, Betty. Oh, that's cool. All right. I'm gonna have to check it out. Let me know which channel is it on, your song. I'll check that out. Doom, doom, doom. James Speaker's Corner says people often don't admit at the time when you bring the receipts, but later when their blood calms down, it has an effect. Trust me. I like that. You're right with that. Kalam, stop with the scholars BS and show source material. Y'all need to stop trying to claim things which was never yours. Y'all from West Africa and had nothing to do with Egypt or Israel. Whoo-wee. Powerful, 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 powerful. J.DV, I'm gonna say this, right? And this is me personally, okay? Me personally. I'm not saying anybody else. I don't claim Egypt as my genetic heritage descendancy, or Israel. I don't claim none of that. None of that at all. I'll tell you straight up and down that I'm a West African and a West Indian man. I don't have no time saying that I'm Egyptian or I'm an Israelite or I'm a Sumerian or anything like that. I'm happy. We can speak about, you know, the Caribbean. We could speak about West Africa all day long in terms of like history and heritage and where we come from and the culture there, like all day long. Like, I'm proud of that. You dig what I'm saying? So you're never going to catch me claiming something that's not mine. The only thing that I claim from Egypt is the philosophical tradition or the mystery school tradition that I'm a part of, and that's simply because I'm actually part of that system. Okay, so let's separate that. My claim is nowhere near the Hebrew Israelite claim. Okay, let's see. How old are our children when we send them to school? Children can learn from birth. Do you know alchemy? Yeah, buddy. You remember when Kalam gave Muslims an easy, rational way out of the Muhammad was a pedophile? The sighs of relief they approved. Yeah, within days they were back to square one. I know. Ooh, wait. Let's see. Rich Kid, are you saying, Jing? Do you know what? Actually, I might drop some. Do you want me to drop some fire on you guys?
You know what, Kalam? You know what? You know, the other day when I was doing the lecture and I brought up the verse about Adam being created black.
Mm-hmm.
What was the word for that? The Arabic word.
I think it's Hammam.
Hammam.
Mm.
Hammam. Okay, cool.
I believe so. Let me actually check real quickly. Adam Black Mud. Let's just type that in. So Quran. That's the one thing I didn't type in Quran. There we go. Let's see what pops up. Quran Revelation. Adam was a black man in the name. Let's see if we can get it. Allah mentioned in the creation, Adam in the Quran, verily we created man of potter's clay of black mud altered. So Quran 15:26. Let me actually see if I can share my screen with you guys. So we've got corpus 15:26. Oracle Hijra. Is that Hijra? Hijra? Yay! So you know I'm not too bad, I'm not too bad. Okay. Okay, and verily we created insan, mankind, out of salsaline, clay from hama. Yeah, hama-in. So hama. The word there is hamma. Okay, and it's black mud. Look at that. Hamain is in several different places. 1528. It's also in 1533. And it's also as an adjective in 1886 of dark mud. So let's see. Until we reached the setting of the sun, he found set in a spring of dark mud and found near it people. Okay. So the word has been used 4 times in the Quran, and it's always been black mud. Never would I prostrate to a human you created out of clay from an altered black mud. Let's see what else it says. It says here, never, he says, never would I prostrate to a human being who's created out of clay from altered black mud. Yeah, it's all the same thing.
Okay, so I don't really see why they were disingenuous about that. I mean, if that's what it is, he's tried to say that I put it in the Quran, but there you are showing the receipt. So, and then when I said to him, didn't Kalam show you what the word was? And he went, how can I take something from Kalam when he doesn't speak Arabic? You don't have to speak Arabic. You can just look it up. That's the time and day we live in.
Yeah, they love to play the Arabic game. And I tried my very best to make sure that even the layperson on here can have the same argument. You don't need all of that, family. You don't need all of that. It's all there for us to all see. Let's quickly see. On this Betty Closet, it was me clapping back at Jedi Magistyle. Okay. Okay. I'm going to check that out in a minute. I'm going to check it out. Okay, let's quickly see. Sorry, let me just make sure I'm reading all your comments. Hey Cam, question. Hebrews 9:27 says, and as it is appointed unto men once to die, but after this the judgment, right? So is Lazarus still alive? Ooh, do you want to touch on that? Rich Kid?
What did he say? I did
So basically, Hebrews 9:27 says it's allotted only once for a man to die, basically, to live and die. So you know, Jesus supposedly raised Lazarus from the dead or from the tomb.
Mm-hmm.
So is Lazarus still alive?
Well, this is the thing when I asked them when Jesus came and all of the disciples came out of their grave and they walked into the town. I'm just trying to make people say, look, if you saw dead people walking out of a grave and then walking into the town, the Bible doesn't continue to say, did they die again or did they, what happened? I thought when the saints died, the whole purpose of them dying is to go to heaven. So why would they come back again? I mean, the whole thing doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Christians, hold on a minute, Kalam, let me just show you this. Can I show you my screen, Kalam?
Yeah, share your screen.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not seeing it on my screen, but you're seeing it though, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. Where it says here, Moses heard of such belief current among the wise nations and among distinguished men, and thus received himself a certain reputation for having divine powers. These doctrines he used in order to educate the Jews, yet none of them which he taught can be considered original. The rites of circumcision, for example, which I do not criticize, came to the Jews from Egypt, where the rites is used to produce a magical effect, yet without rational cause. So they told us to read the book, and at the same time they're criticizing us. So they're saying that they were what would they say? They taught us circumcision.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, there you go.
Boy, again, family. Any of you guys like to come on, right, and have some fun with us? Please come on and have some fun with us. Right, I'm sharing the link with you guys. Right, we just want to have some fun. To be honest with you, there's a lot of you guys who are just hitting the dislike button. Can I have my my lovers of Titans TV and great information to hit up the like button, family? Like, let them know that we're here, man. We're here. How are Yiddish and the Hebrew language different? What's the background on the two and the interplay in Jewish culture? Okay. To my knowledge, Yiddish is the revival of the Hebrew language. And you know, because the people, what area were they in again? Is it Germany or somewhere around those areas there? Somewhere in East Germany. Sorry, in East Europe. They intermingled, you know, that style of lingua or speech into the revival of Hebrew language. before it was made a state religion back in the 1950s or so. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. Like, correct me. So that's the difference. Let's see. He is bringing Celsus, not smart ourselves. Church father called Clement of Alexandria in 240 AD debunked his writings. I hear you, Airy. Let me stop at Airy. But did he debunk exactly what the brother Rich Kid brought out? Right? You can't just throw away a whole book. Like anybody could debunk something that an author writes, right? Okay. Anything can easily be refuted. I mean, so not say refuted. Anything can be easily refuted or objected against. Okay. But that's not the entirety of the book. That might be one thing that the person's brought forward or several things the person's brought forward. But is it to do with exactly what the brother just read out? I doubt. Okay. Okay.
Just to add on that, Kalam,
Mhm.
I would like him to tell me how Origin died and why was he eradicated from the church? Because in the end, he succumbed to pagan philosophy.
Ooh. Wowzers. I said stuff for law. All right, all right. Let's see. What can I do? What can I do? Everyone thinks the English language is not important because it is modern, but it is very powerful. Yes, it's true. It is based on phonetics, which is always what incantations are. That's why it's called spellings. Yeah, yeah, indeed, indeed. All right, all right. Let's see. What do I actually want to bring? I might bring something. I've got a nice file up here. Do you know what? Yeah. You know what? Yeah. There's one thing that a lot of us as people that know this information, we always talk about Egypt, but I prefer the term Kemet. Um, I prefer the term Kemet because the term Kemet is much more inclusive of what people are talking about. Okay, because when we talk about Egypt, and that's why even Egyptologists today don't even call it Egypt; they call it ancient Egypt, right? Because there is a massive distinguishing factor between Egypt and ancient Egypt. Ancient Egypt is talking about an empire rather than the borders of the state of Egypt today, right? So we have to distinguish the borders of the state of Egypt today, Egypt or Kemet. And I love it because it's so rich, it's so broad. It goes into what people will call Kush. It goes into what people call modern day Egypt, or back in the day, the Hebrews would call it Misraim. It goes into the Canaanite region and so forth. So it's so wonderful to actually utilize the term Kemet than anything else. And if you're going to jump in, like, let's jump into the paradigm of the Bible. Let's just jump into the paradigm of the Bible. Um, when you understand that the paradigm of the Bible, it doesn't extend or reach outside of Kemet in that respect, right? When we talk about Moses, for example, like Moses is the key character that gave birth to everything. It doesn't transcend that. Like, he's born in Egypt, right? He's born in Egypt, raised in Egypt. He now migrates into Kush land. He's now educated in Kush land. He now, migrates back into Egypt. He then goes into Canaan region to set up his community. And you just see, if you look on the map of Kemet itself, you just see like this person has not left Kemet, not one bit. He just simply moved from one state to another state, meaning like we're in England right now, right? But we're in part of the UK. We're in England. But now if we go to Scotland, we're still in the UK. If we go to Wales, we're still in the UK, right? If we go to Northern Ireland, we're still in the UK. But I'd rather just keep it to Scotland, Wales, and Scotland, Wales, and England. You're still in the UK. You haven't moved anywhere. You're still under the same power structure. You're still under the same influences. You're still on the same overwhelming or overarching culture. You're still there, right? And when we talk about this was, if we're going to, put ourselves into the story, because we're not really doing any critical analysis of the story. What I mean by that is we're not even questioning when this story actually originated. right? We're going to play the game as to say, yes, this was something that really did happen 1400 years ago, type of vibe. We're going to play that story rather than when was this actually penned down, which was no more than, 300 BCE. Like we're now just even going into your realms to say, yeah, let's play on the way you want to play with us. And you'll see that the whole story is a comedic story, right? I was going through actually today, Rich Kid, and you have like Moses,
Yeah, listen. Yeah, I'm listening.
right? And then you have, his second man in charge was Harun, and then you have another person called Hor as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, these three individuals, like check it, every single one of them have Egyptian names.
that's great.
And then you go on to the next person who's in charge, right? Who is Joshua, yeah, or
Yeah,
Joshua.
yeah,
Like he is, Hoshua, son of Nun. Okay, this is
yes.
Egyptian names. Like all of them are like when you really look at it, it's like, hold on. Like as Kemetic people, we should stop fighting the Bible, okay, and actually embrace and understand that it is a Kemetic story talking about a Kemetic people. And when you really look at it, okay, everything that it's speaking about, you see the whole temple system that they have set up, for example, when they created their temple system. There is the cherubims and the Ark of the Covenant and so forth, and they carry it on their shoulders and so forth, right? Like, go and look at an ancient Egyptian or Kemetic temple and see if you don't see exactly what is described in those books.
I agree.
So it's
And
like for me, I'm like, why are we fighting it? Like, just say, all right, cool, you can have your story. We understand the is allegorical, but like the Salafis, there's a lot of Jews or Hebrews and Christians. They prefer the literal version of the Bible, right? And that's where we kind of buck heads with because they're coming from a literalist perspective. Like, truth be told, learn how Jesus taught, learn how he spoke, right? And he spoke a lot of the times in allegories and parables, right? And even the Jews at the time couldn't get it. Like they were just literalists. What do you mean we must be born again? How does the man go up into his mother's womb a second time? It's like, huh? Like, didn't you just hear me say you need to be born again? Did you really actually think I'm telling you that you need to, like how? Like, are you really on that dense level of just thinking literally? Like, start thinking more allegorically, figuratively, and symbolic. And when you start reading the Bible in those lens, it just makes a lot more sense. And I don't even choose to fight it; I choose to embrace it because it's really a beautiful book that can teach a lot, especially. And the wickedest thing is, it can teach a lot of Kemetic culture that most of us don't even know is part of Kemetic culture. Most of us don't know a lot of the stuff that's talked about in the Bible is actually Kemetic culture, but we're reading it via the wrong lens.
my thought is just as yours.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Okay, if you guys want to get my attention, y'all know what you have to do. Just simply tag Titans TV. All right. And I know we have something. Let me just double check. We have Plip5 says, Big up Titans TV and Brother Kalam. What's good, family? Are the pyramids temples then? No, they're not. There is a distinction between pyramids and temples. But the question is, what are pyramids exactly? What are they, though? We know the difference between a temple, but what are pyramids? Let's see. Jesus called himself a Jew. Yeah, but what did the Jews call Jesus? That's another question. I know Rich Kid might even take it a next step and like, which Jesus are you talking about?
Indeed.
Which one? Did you know that there was an Egyptian Jesus?
Thank you. So, I don't know why people keep saying that. And like I said, if you're going to come on Kalam show, you know who Kalam is, but Jesus was a popular name in the first century. And that's why I keep saying, what was his last name? I mean, everybody else seemed to have a last name, but you just keep saying his last name was Jesus Christ, but that's Greek. It's not even Hebrew.
Oh man. All right. Let me actually drop some knowledge actually. I like to drop a little bit of knowledge. Okay. which was I found it was very interesting actually. Um, when I was compiling it, I found it interesting. So let me see if I can actually drop something with you guys. So, and I want to say something that's going to be controversial both on my Kemetic side and on my Hebrew Israelite side. Okay, so you already know that for me, like for me, Moses, all of his teachings was inspired or from Kemet, right? He was just an inheritor, and the Israelites therefore became inheritors of Kemetic philosophy, right? They became inheritors of Kemetic philosophy. A lot of people like to use the word plagiarism, but I don't think the Bible is plagiarism. And the reason why I don't think the Bible is plagiarism is because it says exactly what it says. And it gives kudos, it gives props to those people that were before it. Okay. It tells you that Moses was, you know, how can I put it, studied or educated in the wisdoms of the Egyptians. It tells you that. It tells you where he was studied. The Jews tells you and so forth. And the same with other prophets inside the Bible. So like for me, it's not the Bible that's the problem. Do you know who and what's the problem? Let's see if you know. Rich kid.
The people who are interpreting the Bible.
That's it. That's it. It's like for me, and that's the same thing I say about like the Muslims or Islam. Islam is not a bad religion. Okay. Islam is not even a religion. It's actually a continuation of Christianity or Judeo Christianity. That's what it is. It's a continuation of Judeo Christianity. It's not a new religion. But of course, they've made it into a new religion. Who's made it into a new religion? And the people's made it into a new religion. And the people don't understand the Quran and what Muhammad came and brought. So it's the people that corrupts, right? The text remains the same. Like there's no difference in it. It's just the people's interpretation. That's why I tell you, 9 times out of 10, not to being rude, not being rude, but Muslims are lying to you every single time they speak about the Quran and Islam. And it's not because they're intentionally lying and they're not trying to lie. They're being very sincere. It's just that they don't understand it and they're being fed misinformation, right? And it's high time that Muslims start to come out and actually start speaking to the people of the scriptures. The Quran teaches you, tells you, go back to the people of the scriptures and ask them questions, right? Question it. And the more that you start picking up these books, picking up a Torah, a Talmud, a Midrash, a Mishnah, the philosophies of the Jews, start picking up the Christian books and so forth, and start reading them, okay, and start gaining an understanding. Once you start doing that, you'll be able to appreciate your Quran on another level because you'll appreciate the stories that it's talking about. Okay, when people, okay, any literature or any message that's given, right? There is like a 3-point process, right? A 3-point process. Yeah, let's say that there's a 3-point process. There is the speaker, there is the listener, and then there, of course, there is the message. Okay. So now you've got the message, you know who the speaker is, but now who was his listeners? Who was the audience he was speaking to? He was speaking to the Jews, he was speaking to the Christians, he was speaking to the idolaters. Why don't you learn what they had? Why don't you know what were they thinking when they heard these words? What did it spark in their mind? Right? So what did when the Jew heard the Quran, what were their thoughts of the Quran based upon knowing Jewish scriptures and knowing what the Jews thought at the time? What were the Christians thinking when they heard the scripture? And so forth and so forth. Once you start thinking like that, you understand the context, hermeneutics basically. Then you start to understand and appreciate the Quran that much better. The same way to do with Christianity and the teachings of Jesus and the Jews. Like, it's just so much enriching once you truly understand. All right, let me jump on this though. The link has been sent out. Numerology in the Bible is astounding indeed. See, there's a lot of stuff, right? I'm even not even going into, okay, because they belong to the mystery systems. Yeah, they belong to the mystery systems, and I feel, some time people ask me questions, and I feel like I can answer you, but I choose not to answer you because, you know, pearls to swines. Nice. I say pearls to swines, but it's not really pearls to swines. It's just that this is like next level that should be treated sacredly. All right. So I put this up together today, actually. And I wanted to speak about the Moses, was it called? Moses, the Egyptian Cushite initiate, right? Now, let me actually ask you a question. Rich kid, in ancient Egypt, in Kemet, how many years did it take for you to be a priest?
If my memory serves me right, 42 years.
Yeah, 40, 42 years or 40 years.
Yeah, yeah, around
40 years. We should pull up, what's his name? James, what's his name? James GM's,
James Jackson,
yeah, Stolen Legacy.
Stolen Legacy. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's in there, but it's also in like a priestly work as well. It tells you this particular priest spent 40 years becoming a high priest or whatever the case was.
yeah,
So I wanted to just go into that because when you read the Bible, yeah, I start reading the Bible in the lens of Kemet, and I start to understand the stories that much more.
that's great. That's great.
Right? And because you need to understand what did this person actually know. So if I'm going to put myself in the position of Moses, let's just say Moses actually existed. Moses is actually, the Pharaoh's daughter's son. Okay, and he's grown up in the palace and so forth. What education did he receive? What was he being molded into? What language did he speak? And so forth. So when he's using a lot of the terms, right, he's coming from his perspective, what he knows. And when you understand that, it's very enriching, very enriching. All right. So we already know that Moses was viewed as an Egyptian, right? Moses was viewed as an Egyptian, and he was an Egyptian. Okay, so if you go into Exodus 2:19, it says here, "An Egyptian rescued for us from the shepherds. He drew water for us and watered the flock." So we know that Moses was, in all appearance, was viewed as an Egyptian, and he never once contested his Egyptian roots. He said, "Yep, I'm an Egyptian." So when I'm talking about that, Moses, sorry, the Bible is a brainchild of Kemet, right? We've got an Egyptian that produced the message or produced what is known as the Torah. It came from his mind, right? No matter what you want to say, it came from his mind. If you want to say he's inspired by God, at the same rate, it is his mind that it's being produced from, right? So this Egyptian now produces the Bible, okay? And it also says that this Egyptian was also learned, okay, in all of the wisdoms of the Egyptians, okay? And it also tells you that in being learnt in all of the wisdom of the Egyptians, we know it takes you 40 years to be a priest, okay? When I say priest, I'm talking about the highest priest, the fullness of the educational system in Egypt. So let's actually go into uh, let's go into that actually. Let's see if we can do that. Stolen legacy.
And just to give you, sorry, just to give your audience another reference for what Kalam's talking about. If you want to read the book 101 Myths of the Bible by Gary Greenberg, that's a good read to follow on what Kalam's talking about.
So even here, so even like for example, look at this. Greek philosophy was the offspring of an Egyptian mystery system. That's cool, right? Like we all know this. Like even like I love the way the Otis author says it as well, because I'm saying it because I'm just saying it out of my own words. But they even saying it about the Greek system was an offspring of the Egyptian mystery system. And anybody that knows Greek philosophy, you know that all of these great individuals, came to Kemet and learned as well. Like the Greeks don't hide it; they tell you plain in their works, right? And again, I would even say that I would even say sorry, I would even say that um the Bible tells you as well, but some people just don't get it. All right, let's see if I can do chapter VII. Let's see if I can do that. All right. So this is the curriculum of the Egyptian mystery system, right? So You can go into great works such as Diodorus Siculus, Herodotus, and Clement of Alexandria. Right? They all write about this. These three groups of people all write about it. Talk about the different orders of Egyptian priests, and that each order had to master a certain number of books of Hermes. Now, remember, if you're a Muslim, Hermes is known as Idris, and if you are a Christian, he is known as Enoch, and if you are a Jew, you know him as Hanuk. Okay, and if you're a Kemet, you know him as Jehuti or Tehuti or Thoth. All right. Clement has described a procession of the priests, calling them by their orders and so forth. Right. So there is the different orders, right, of priesthood and so forth. I'm not going to go through all of them. All right. But the books of Hermes are 42 in number, and you need to learn them, right? Depending on which priest, what level of priesthood you are in. All right. So you learn, you learn, you learn. Let's see. And then, of course, you got the had to submit to many years of tests and ordeals in order to show their eligibility. Their education included the 7 liberal arts and the virtues. The virtues were not mere abstractions or ethical sentiments, but positive valors and the virility of the soul. Beyond these, the priest entered upon a course of specialization. All right. So there is so much. Like, I really wish we had time to go through it. It teaches you, you know, you learn the hieroglyphics, of which were there are 2 forms: the hieroglyphics proper and the heretics, a linear form. Both were used by the priest in order to conceal the secrets and mystical meanings of their doctrines. All right, so just, and this is all talking about in Plutarch's the Iside et Osirid, or the Isis and Osiris myth. Okay, so all of this, like, just imagine Moses and the in ancient Egyptian initiate had to have known Medu Neter, right? Had to have known it. All right. We are also informed that the mystery system of Egypt employs modes of spoken language which could be understood only by the initiated. These consisted not only of myths and parables, but also of a secret language. Yeah, yeah. And it continues, it continues, it continues. All right. The education of the Egyptian priests consisted also in the specialization in magic. Okay. So we know that, supposedly they did magic, and it continues. Like, there it is right there, the 7 liberal arts, right? Neophytes include grammar, arithmetic, rhetoric, dialectic, geometry, and astronomy and music. They need to be able to sing, they need to know astronomy, they need to know cosmography, geography, topography. They need to know stolysis, okay, which is dealing with the slaughter of animals, right? You have all of that being taught, okay, in the priestly sect. We also need to know about dealing with higher esoteric theology and the whole education of priests. You need to know about diseases, male and female anatomy, drugs and instruments. All of this stuff right here, yeah, you needed to know. And this takes a maximum, to learn all of this stuff, it takes 40 years, right? 40 years. I wonder if it actually says it here. 40. Let's see if it just has it. 40. Let's see if it has it. Okay. I don't think so. You pay for it. Nope, I don't think it has it here. But it lets you know it takes about 40 years of study to actually master all of that. All right. Make sure that you lot are still here with me. Yeah. 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 All right. So you lot are still here with me. So let's drop some quick wisdom. All right. So now, it tells you right here. And when he was full 40 years of age, he came into his heart to visit the brethren of the children of Israel. So he was 40 years old. The whole story of him striking the Egyptian and killing him and so forth. And then he had to go and so forth. All right. So then, anyways, so he spent. So that happened with him, and then he spent another 40 years, right, elsewhere. Okay, he spent another 40 years in the land of Midian. And Moses was fourscore years old, and Aaron 4 scores and 3 years old when they spoke unto Pharaoh. So at that time, he spent another 40 years with the Midianite priest. He spent another 40 years with Jethro, otherwise known as Ruel. right? 40 years there. And why would he spend another 40 years? This is to do with symbolisms yet again. He spent another 40 years there because he was initiated into the Cushite school, right? He learned all the wisdom of the Egyptians. Now it's to go south of Egypt. Now it's to go into the lands. It could even be Upper Egypt at that time. So most people don't know that Ethiopia was also, sorry, Upper Egypt was also called the land of Ethiopia. Some people think you have to go all the way down into Ethiopia. No, Ethiopia, where we now see modern day Ethiopia, wasn't the ancient word for Ethiopia. The ancient for Ethiopia is like a certain place in Upper Egypt down into Sudan, was what the Romans and the Greeks called Ethiopia to a certain degree. All right. So he went down there. He went into, the land of Upper Egypt and Sudan amongst the Cushites, and then he learned for another 40 years. How do we know this? How do we know this? Because Exodus 7:7 tells us, as well as Rabbi Levi said, the rod which was created in the twilight, which that was delivered to the first man out of the Garden of Eden, Adam delivered it to Enoch. Okay, Enoch, which we all know who he is, right? Enoch delivered it to Noah, and Noah extended it to Shem or Melchizedek. Again, another Egyptian. We all know who this person is, right? Shem passed it on to Abraham, um, Abraham to Isaac, and Isaac to Jacob, and Jacob brought it down into Egypt and passed it on to his son Joseph, right? And when Joseph died and they pillaged his household goods, it was placed in the palace of Pharaoh, right? So this rod, okay, which is another symbolic term, was in the land of Egypt or in the palace of Pharaoh. And then Jethro was one of the magicians of Egypt. And he saw that the rod and the letters which were upon it, and he desired in his heart to have it. And he took it and brought it and planted it in the midst of the garden of his house. No one was able to approach it anymore. When Moses came to his house, he went into the garden of Jethro's house and saw that the rod read read the letters. Okay, this is the ineffable name of God, all right, which were upon it. And he put forth his hand and took it. Jethro watched Moses and said, this one in the future will redeem Israel from Egypt. Therefore, he gave him Zipporah, his daughter to wife, as it is said, and Moses was content to dwell with the man, and he gave Moses Zipporah, his daughter. Moses was keeping the sheep of Jethro for 40 years, right? 40 years. Now, what most people don't understand, right? When they utilize the term sheep and flock, right? It's talking in figure of speech, not literal sheep, not literal flock, but it's talking about what? Let me see. Rich kid, what's go ahead.
It's talking about students of a certain mystery system.
There you go. It's talking about students of a certain mystery system. Just as Jesus was the good shepherd and his flock follows him wherever he goes. Now we're understanding that this is talking about, Jethro. He's been introduced in the Bible as a priest, a high priest of Midian. And then Moses was given charge to look after that mystery school, right? Or be a priest in that mystery school for 40 years, right? Wow. Let's see. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law. Okay, so yeah, that's that for a hot second. All right. And now, what's funny about this, right? What's very, very funny about this? What's very funny about this is the stuff that we're saying right now, right? The stuff that I'm saying right now is the same stuff that got Jesus in trouble with the Jews back in the day, right? And do you know why it got him in trouble with the Jews back in the day? Because the Jews always, like anybody, like the Christians will always big up Jesus, the Muslims will always big up Muhammad, and the Jews will always big up the prophet Moses, right? But Jesus, according to Jews, were having like an intellectual conversation. And we'll see this actually picks up with inside of the Quran as well, right? They're having a conversation. So let's just see if I can bring it to you guys, to your attention, yeah? So one day, this is coming from the Toledat of Yeshu, okay? This is not very good book. for Christians, or paints Jesus not in a very good light. All right. This is the Jews' version of Jesus. It says here, one day Jesus walked in front of the sages with his head uncovered, showing shameful disrespect. Right. Um, the discussion arose as to whether this behavior did not truly indicate that Jesus was an illegitimate child and the son of a Nida. Okay, now let me give you the conversation. So this was what actually was going on. So when that happened, yeah, the rabbis were having a conversation and say that boy is certainly a mamzer. But Rabbi Joshua said, nah, son of Levi said, he is a a Ben Hanida. And the Rabbi Akiba also said he is a Ben Hanida. Therefore, Rabbi Akiba went out of the school and asked Jesus in what city he was born. Jesus answered, I am of Nazareth. My father is a Mazariah, and my mother is Karakat. Then Rabbi Akiba and Joshua went into the school of Rabbi. Okay, so it continues, right? But the word that's been here is used here is Mizraim. This is the term for Egypt, right? So in here, the Jews said that Jesus said that his father is from Egypt, right? And yeah, yeah. And the reason they were having this conversation, right? Because if you actually saw the retort that Jesus gave when they saw his head uncovered, he said, "Right, this didn't come from Moses. This actually came from like the rabbis. The rabbis made this up. The doctors made this up. It's got nothing to do with the lawgivers. Sorry, the lawgiver Moses. So it's like I'm not even following this tradition of keeping my head covered because this is not even part of Moses's teachings. He was going on like a bad man according to them, right? Let's not get conflated with this is what the Bible teaches or this is what Christians believe. I'm just simply giving you information of Judaism. All right. So, anyways, so they all wanted to know, like, is he an illegitimate child? And they came to the conclusion that, yeah, he's from an Egyptian father named, what's his name? Pandera? What's his first name again?
Jesus Pandera.
Yes, but his father,
Uh,
Joseph Pandera, right?
Joseph Pandera.
Pandera. Okay. Now, if anybody knows the term Pandera, it basically means like a panther, like a black panther. But it could also mean several different things. They're not too sure, but it means like a panther, and a panther is either a lion or a black panther, basically. All right. So anyway, moreover, the story tells that while the rabbis were discussing the tractate of Nezikin, I think this is the book of damages, basically a judicial book. He says here he gave his own impudent interpretation of the law. Like they didn't like him at all. Look at the word impudent. And in ensuing debate, so now, yeah, man like Jesus, remember they say that, he was debating with them back in the day. He was debating with the rabbis. So now we know. Now we don't get in the Bible what they were debating about, but this is a strong indication right here. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's false, but let's just see what the Jews report. It says here, ensuing debate, he held that Moses. So now, let me ask you guys the question, right? Before I even do this, yeah. So there is a debate here about who is the greatest prophet. That's what the debate was about. All right. So I'm going to ask you guys, who was the greatest prophet? Let me see. What are you guys saying? Who was the greatest prophet? Or who is the greatest prophet? Anybody know? Somebody saying Jesus, Buddha, Moses, Hercules, Muhammad. So remember, this is in the time of Jesus, right? So Jesus is having this conversation. So don't give me Jesus, don't give me a Muhammad, right? Give me who was the greatest prophet. Who do you think the greatest prophet was? All right. So give me who you think it was. I see Tommy Robinson there. All right. Now, in the Jews' eyes, okay, so I need you guys to take yourself out of your own, conceptualization. Out in the Jews' eyes, who would you say the Jews believed was the greatest prophet? Who do you think the Jews believe was the greatest prophet? Let's see if you know. The Jews view Moses as the greatest prophet. John McDermott says Moses, Solomon, Noah, Elijah. Okay, God, Moses. All right, cool. So yeah, the answer is indeed Moses, right? All the Jews at the time would clearly say Moses is the greatest of all the prophets. But check out my cheeky little Jesus right now, yeah? And cheeky, but very clever, okay? Cheeky, but clever. Yeah. Okay, so it says here, ensuing debate had that Moses, so he's saying Moses could not be the greatest of the prophet. All right. He said he could not be the greatest of the prophets. Let's see if we can get a nicer way of it and say, okay, decision of yours against the view that. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. So he said that no, Moses is not the greatest of the prophets if he had to receive counsel from Jethro. He said that Moses could not be the greatest of the prophets because he had to receive counsel, i.e., advice or guidance. Like Jethro, his father-in-law, okay, had to give Moses guidance. Okay, so if he had to receive Moses, the greatest prophet, had to receive guidance from Jethro, who is greater? Right? Who is the greatest then? What is he trying to allude to? Let me see if you get it. Okay, so if Jethro had to give Moses advice, right? Who is the greatest prophet? What is Jesus trying to allude to? Let's see if you guys know.
Yeah.
And Rich Kid, since you're here, let me ask you.
Yes, man. Oh, sorry. Is that time? I can go on time.
I just say shalom. I just wanted to ask if Brother Kalam is throwing the question to everybody or just on the live chat. But anyway, in any case, shalom to you first. Shalom here to all of you. Shalom first.
Shalom, 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 Uncle. So I'm going to go to Rich Kid. And no, let me go to Ty, Uncle Ty first. So Uncle Ty, according to this, okay, who is, in this story, Jesus trying to allude to is the greater prophet or the greatest prophet?
Well, first thing I have to say, because I always like to start from the beginning, you know, when you're talking about Jews, you know, I know you've jumped in. You haven't actually defined who you're calling Jews, because there are all kinds of Jews. And in this case, I'm definite that you're talking about perspectives according to the Kabbalistic Jews. You're not talking about the Israelites in the book. You're talking about this narrative of a post-Israelite, post-Roman era Judaism, which is not the same as Israelites. This Judaism, I'm sure you can attest to that. So if they're asking that question, obviously they are biased because they don't want to follow the laws of Moses. They want to follow the laws of the Kabbalah. So in any case, the Moses of the Bible, if we call the brothers in the Bible prophets, we will be talking about Moses being the greatest. And you saying because he took advice from Jethro, does that make him subservient or less than Jethro? For instance, it would be the same as the president of the United States taking advice from his secretary, and then we go on and say the secretary is greater than the president. I think that's a misnomer and a false assumption.
No problem. But what is Jesus trying to, in this story, I'm not saying it's true or false, okay, we're just going by the words in the story. Who is Jesus trying to allude to is the greatest prophet?
Well, if he had to take counsel from Jethro, he's saying obviously that the superior knowledge that Jethro had, Moses had to learn from that. So we probably view Jethro as having greater knowledge than that of Moses.
Indeed, that is the correct answer. And do you know what they did as soon as he said that? Do you know what they did?
Shock me.
They said, let's actually inquire more into his ancestry. This led to further inquiry as to his antecedents. All right. And then they basically report that he is of, he's basically of, Egyptian background. That was the conclusion they came to because of that statement. Because Jesus was saying that Jethro was greater than Moses, that's what the conclusion was. That means he must be an Egyptian, because only an Egyptian would say something like that. Very fascinating, right?
Well, I think.
Sorry?
I said indeed.
And you know what's so funny? We see the same thing, the same how can I put it? The same, you call it the typology, the same theme runs through the Islamic world as well, right? It's funny because they've got a story that basically teaches the same moral, but has another a way of phrasing it. Okay, so let me give you this one. Okay, so this is from Sahih Muslim. And it says here, Abu Tufail came to us. There has been a difference of opinion between me and my friends about the companions of Moses, whom he wanted to meet on the way. Did he hear did hear anything from Allah's messenger, making mention of anything? Ubay said, I heard Allah's messenger as saying, as Moses was amongst the group of Bani Israel, there came to him a person, and he said to him, do you know anyone having better knowledge than you? So Moses was asked the question, like, is anybody more knowledgeable than you? Moses said, no. Like, Naji, I'm the man, doggy. Thereupon Allah revealed to Moses, of course there is amongst our servants Al-Khidr, who has better knowledge than you. Okay, so again, with the same type of theme of somebody having more knowledge, right? Somebody being greater in knowledge, right? Moses asked the way of meeting him. Allah made the fish a sign and was sent to him, where you miss the fish, return to that place and you will soon find him. So Moses moved as on as Allah wished him to move on. He then said to the young companion, bring us and so forth, so forth. All right. And then reached the Sahara. I forgot the fish, blah, 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 blah. Moses said that to the young man, this was what we wanted. So they retraced the steps and met Khidr, and events which followed had been described in his book. And in there, he talks about Al-Khidr having more knowledge about Moses. Them two have different knowledge, but Moses didn't have the patience to go through all of the education that Al-Khidr actually had. Right, so they had to cut their Moses had to cut his education short. So at the end of the story, Al-Khidr started off with more knowledge, initiated and educated Moses, but Moses didn't have the patience to go through all of the trials with Al-Khidr. Therefore, Al-Khidr still trumped Moses in knowledge. All right. If he actually learned all of the knowledge of Al-Khidr, maybe he may be more knowledgeable than Al-Khidr, but he didn't. So it's still showing you in this story that there is somebody out there who had more knowledge than Moses. And of course, Al-Khidr is found in Sudan, or where the two Niles meet. According to the story, you can go into the Quran and it gives you the fullness of the story in there as well. All right. And Al-Khidr literally means the black one or the green one. So in Arabic, the term green and black is used interchangeable, meaning like a dark-skinned person. And of course, Al-Khidr, Midian, not Midian, what am I saying? Jethro was a Cushite, okay? So it's kind of telling you that this person is a dark-skinned person, a black person, a Cushite. And this is how the Quran tries to pick it up. So it's very interesting, right, that the Jews themselves will tell you that the priest, Jethro, was more knowledgeable than Moses, right? In a Jewish Christian polemics, it will tell you that Jesus says that, Jethro was more knowledgeable than Moses. And then the Quran picks it up as, Al-Khidr, who I'm stating, when clearly say I'm stating, Jethro is much more knowledgeable than Moses again. So it's very interesting, right, that these people, and they all, log that this person, a Cushite, they log him either as a Cushite or an Egyptian. All of them log him as such. And these people, and Moses in all of these story was educated or counseled and schooled by this Cushite / Egyptian. All of them tell you this. And this person had more knowledge than Moses. Very interesting. Very, very, very interesting.
Kalam, what's your main...
Sorry, Ty, not to cut you. Kalam, I'm just popping out for like 10 minutes if I'll be out, yeah?
No problem. No problem. So anyway, Uncle Ty, I'm soon going to be finished with my little, lecture. And then afterwards, I'm going to open it up where you can come in and question and so forth. All right. So let me quickly move on. All right. Now, that being said, let's quickly see. So we gave you that. We gave you that. All right. So, and we also know that if you go into Exodus 18, in Exodus 18, we also see that, Jethro's father-in-law, officiated a whole burnt offering and sacrifices for God. All right. We see that he gives a burnt offering and sacrifice. Imagine that he's not an Israelite. Okay. But he is able to give a burnt offering and sacrifice where Aaron and all of the elders of Israel had to come and partake in and eat the meal. Okay. So remember, in order to sacrifice to God, you must be pure, you must be clean, you must be part of a temple system, right? All right. Only those people can actually eat a meal that's been offered unto God. All right. It's the priests, unless it's been now passed on to everybody else. Interesting, right? Interesting. And you know the reason why he's able to do that? Because he gave Moses his initiation. He gave Moses his temple school system. That's why Moses always has to humble himself to this individual called Jethro, because Jethro is the man. He's the one person in the Bible that doesn't get enough props, right? But he needs to get the props, right? Him and his daughter Zipporah. You don't even get to know about Zipporah and their children, Gershom and Eliza, right? Why? Because the Bible is supposedly a book about the Israelites. So they didn't want to tell you about, Moses's Cushite children and where they served and what they worshipped and so forth. They just left it. They left it. It's a sad shame, though. It's a sad shame. Anyways, so, and we also find that, Moses, Moses was admonished by Jethro. He telling him the things that you're doing is not right in the Bible. All right. And then he tells him, what you should do. And then, now listen to me. I will give you counsel and God be with you. Moses heeded his father-in-law and did just as he said. All right. So, it takes a bad man. It takes a big man to tell Moses. Imagine going to a prophet, right, and telling the prophet, like, what you're doing is wrong. Imagine that. You must be a person of power and authority, okay, to speak. Remember, this is God's right-hand man on earth, right? You must be in a position of authority to supersede that, to tell man, I know more than you, right? And I'm going to tell you what you're doing is wrong, number one. Hey, yo, big man Moses, you're wrong, G. All right, this is where it is. Imagine that. He'd be looking at you like, what do you mean I'm wrong, fam? Like, I'm God's right-hand man. Yeah, G. Takes a big man to say, no, you're wrong. And let me tell you what you need to do. And this is how you need to set up your priesthood system. And this is how you need to set up your judges. And this is what you need to do in order to teach the people and give them counsel and give them judicial advice. Okay, this is what you need to do. Then Moses took heed, listened to his father-in-law, and did exactly as he said. God damn. And this is the reason why Jesus had to ask the question, who is greater, Moses or Jethro? You don't claim that Moses is the greatest of all the prophets, but even Moses had a teacher. Even Moses had to bow down to somebody else, right? Even Moses himself, as big as he is, had to bow down to a Cushite / Egyptian. And that's why you should have love for the Cushite and Egyptians, right? Because we're able to come in and clear up all of your misconceptions and tell you you are wrong to your face and give you the correct advice and counseling. All right? Is either you're going to be stiff-necked, okay, and oppose the teachings of God, or you're going to humble yourself like Moses did and take on the covenant and the role that you're supposed to take on and just take advice and listen to what we're saying. All right? Leave the ego at home because we're here to help you. We're not here to hate you. We're not here to fight you. We're not here to shoot you guys down. We're here to make sure that you guys prosper and prosper in truth and faith. All right, baby? All right. Let me open it up now because I've had enough fun. I've had enough fun. So, family tree, if you'd like to come in, let me just make sure I share that. Uh-oh. Nope, that's not the one. Let me get it. Sorry. bear with me, family. Bear with me. I'm just sending you guys the link. So anytime you're ready to come in and have some fun with us before we go to bed, let us know. All right. There's the link right there. Make sure you hit the share button, hit the like button. And if you want to get my attention, make sure you hit us up with a super chat.
Right, Brother Kalam, right. Shalom to you properly.
Oh, sorry. Before you speak, let me give the book that I was reading, John McDermott. It was from the Toledot of Yeshu. Toledot of Yeshu. Okay, that's a Jewish book, talking about what Jesus said. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry, Uncle Ty.
Yeah, shalom to you properly first, just to say greetings to you and our family. Title brings me in again. So I guess it's not over in your mind and mind of all the other Kemet adherents, and obviously it's something that we do all the time anyway. So yeah, but I just trying to know your point, trying to know what you're about is one thing that stops me not knowing how to address you sometimes. But I think maybe my picture is becoming clearer, and just where sort of like where you stand in terms of your I don't know if I call it a faith or religion or you know or what. But anyway, your last statement I think underlines everything, which is that I suppose you're referring to Hebrews, Israelites, and I don't know, maybe Muslims as well, that they need to bow down to Cushites. Is that your main point? Yeah.
My main point when I say bow down, I mean utilize some form of humility to be able to be taught and learn something instead of being puffed up in pride and ego and shutting your ears from what's being spoken about, because we're not speaking anything that is erroneous or false or without proof. We're not speaking from our own
Yeah,
mind.
I just wanna before I do the explanation, I just want to know if you when you say bow down, that's a clear word. I don't want you to water it down. I want you to just uphold it like you said it, just so I can, so you just because I don't want any syncretism. I don't want syncretism. I don't want to be friends. Just because people are too sort of like weak to stand on their own 2 feet. I don't mean that disrespectfully. What I'm saying is, when you say bow down, I like it. I like it. Trust me, I like it. All right. Huh. So I just want to know, because everything you said shows clearly that you take whatever you're talking about as the supreme way to be. Am I correct?
No, let me just put it like this. Okay, I don't take my way as being the supreme way, as in everybody should follow me. I'm simply saying that as a Christian, right? Follow your Christianity. As a Hebrew, follow your Hebrewism. As a Muslim, follow your Islam, but follow it in truth and in faith. And as my good brother John McDermott quickly says here, every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. So I'm with that, my brother. All right. I'm with that. It's just practicing a form of humility. All right. I'm not telling anybody to bow down to myself. Right.
No. I'm not saying to yourself. I'm saying to
gonna bow down to anything. Bow down to the truth. Okay. Bow down to truth. And what I'm saying is, if I'm in alignment with truth, then you should bow down to that truth and not be puffed up in pride.
All right, you just said right now that John McDermott said, all knees shall bow and all tongue shall confess that our creator is Lord, yeah? And he's an Israelite and he's an Israelite king. Is that what you're saying you bow down to?
Which Jesus is that before you go any further? Time.
Ask Kalam.
Kalam is reading literature, and with as I keep saying before,
listen, there's always somebody to defend Kalam. Kalam is quoting what John McDermott wrote to him. So he's quoting that and he's saying, yeah, that's all right. So I'm asking him, is that because he says he accepts that. And I'm saying, well, if you accept that, you must accept that that same Christ says he's the king of Israel. I'm addressing Kalam, and Kalam is the one who quoted John McDermott and said that's all right for him. So you don't need to quiz me on that.
Yeah. So let me answer that. I'm answering it for myself. I'm not answering for anybody else, right? So when I say it, I'm speaking from a place of knowledge, and what I might be saying may not be coinciding with everybody's understanding and opinion. So it may not be coinciding with your opinion and your understanding. What I'm saying about that, I'm saying that the word or the logos, okay, the logos principle, right? Definitely every tongue and every knee shall confess to that, and everybody has to bow down to that. For my Kemetics, they understand that principle as being Jehuti, right? And for my Christians, they understand that as being Jesus or the Word of God. So yeah.
Oh, Kalam. You're not brave enough to stand in one place. I think this is the problem you have in Kalam. You're not brave enough to stand in one place. When you say Moses, and you went on to quote some rabbi, and you quoted the rabbi saying he said Moses this, Moses that. Do you agree with that rabbi? Do you agree with him? Is there anything you disagree with that rabbi about?
I accept it as evidence of what the Jews thought and taught. Okay, I'm personally, let me speak. I personally don't know if it's true, it's false. All I know is something that the Jews themselves taught, and it's an account of Jesus.
Well, so if you use evidence like that, are you saying you don't really believe it? Because when you teach it as evidence, obviously you know there are people who will take it as validation of what you're talking about. So when you use evidence, this is why I have a problem. You're using evidence, but you're being ambiguous about it and unsure about it. You're saying you take their evidence, but you won't take it beyond that. Are you going to say you agree that Moses existed, for example?
Okay, so again, we've taught, and I've said it time and time again, that I don't deal with beliefs. I don't deal with beliefs. The only thing that I deal with is academia, or things that we can know and the things that we can prove. So when I make my statements, it may seem as though I'm dancing around something or not trying to answer straight, but I'm answering as straight as possible on things that I can actually tell you and to prove to you. So I can't prove to you that this thing actually happened in reality because I wasn't there, right? I can tell you this is according to the Jews in the Toledeth of Yeshu. This is what they taught concerning Jesus. This is an account from the Jews about Jesus. Just the same way I can tell you about the accounts inside of the Gospels. I can't tell you that this really happened because I wasn't there. I can simply accept it and utilize it as evidence. Does that make sense to you?
That makes sense to us from like 25 years, 30 years ago. That's not a problem. All I'm saying is you're not making your stand. You see, one day you quote in a book from a rabbi that who knows who agrees with him, yeah? You're making it sound like that rabbi is now validating your point, yeah? Your point, which we've been dragging, at least me and you and some other brothers on there for a couple of days, yeah? You use that rabbi, like you did the other time, to validate your point and your stance, yeah? So people hear that now and they think, yeah, there's the evidence, there's the proof. Brother Kalam, you haven't actually said to the people this disclaimer that you're giving to me right now. You didn't say that to the people, all right? Because when we ask you now, you are quoting one brother, but let's just ask you clearly, do you believe Moses existed? Do you believe Moses existed?
Again, like everybody knows me.
Okay, no, hold on. Sorry, I'm sorry. Do you know that Moses existed?
Okay. So again, I'm gonna just quickly do that because you're going like I don't make this disclaimer. For as long as people have been onto this channel, they know that we don't deal with beliefs. Kalam will never try to teach you a belief and never try to teach you that you should believe in what I believe in or accept my opinion, right? I'm encouraging a scholastic way of viewing scriptures or viewing the world, where you do your due diligence, you do your research, you weigh up the evidence, and you come to your own conclusions. Okay, so that's why I make sure I give everybody the sources that I'm reading from. So I'm not holding it as a secret or holding it against people or over people. We can all see it. We can all weigh up the evidence. So now with Moses, right? Again, there is no corroborative evidence. There is no, how can I put it, archaeological evidence, okay, to support Moses's existence as reported in the annals of the Bible and other places. There is nothing to support that, right? But with the Moses story, I accept it as an oral story, an oral tradition from a group of people. Just as the same way we have Yoruba stories or we have stories all around Africa, I accept it as oral tradition, okay? And until there is any information that substantiates it externally, then I can verify it and say this is something that happened in history. But until then, I cannot say that. What I can say is that I accept it as part of oral history.
So basically, you don't know.
No, it's not that I don't know. I'm simply saying to you that there is no evidence to support Moses' existence as reported in the Bible.
Okay, what do you call evidence? What do you call evidence?
There is nothing. Okay, so for example, right? Batman. Batman is reported inside of Gotham. Sorry, inside of it's reported inside of DC comic books. Okay, now that's cool, but is there any evidence to support it externally? Right? Is there any evidence to support that Batman exists, right now? There is no evidence that he exists. Okay. For example, let me give you another example. There is the Troy and the battle and the Trojan horses and so forth, right? That existed in certain Greek literature. Okay. There was no, and I'm going to say was, okay, there was no evidence to support that story happened historically. There was no evidence to support it until they found a city, until they found the walls and the temple and so forth, until they found that. So right now, okay, I'm simply saying to you that there is nothing to support the existence of Moses as is reported historically, right? But if something comes about and changes that, right, then we can say we have external factors that support the story of Moses. But right now, we don't have it. And everybody in academia is saying exactly what I'm saying. So it's nothing new that I'm saying. Everybody in academia is saying exactly what I'm saying.
Indeed.
Brother, all I asked you was, what is evidence? What is the definition of evidence? That's all I wanted you to do first. Then we'll go into what we do have as evidence. But I just wanted you to do a definition of evidence. Can you do that?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I am muted. All right, so evidence, okay, is the available body of facts or information indicating whether a belief or position is true or valid.
Right, so yeah, we're Googling the same page, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Available body, yeah, or facts, or what? Or information, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So information can be anything. Is that correct or not?
Information could be anything.
Yeah.
Oh, we have to be, let's just say for now, for lack of a better term, because it's not just anything.
No, you can Google it again. You can
Yeah,
Google
but
it.
it's information literature. Are you talking literature when you say information?
No, brother, I'm just listen, we're reading the same page, yeah?
Yeah, I'm just asking, are you when you say information?
Don't ask me, because I don't want to make it subjective to myself, yeah? So the way he did it on Google, he can do information on Google as well. So it's not subjective. So me and you, the three of us, we won't be subject to that. It'll just be something we can both see and decide if we want to accept, yeah? That's all I want.
Yeah, but I was just asking, when you say information, does that information contain literature?
Brother, I think we're already disagreeing right here.
Sorry, Rich Kid, let me go.
I asked number one, what is evidence?
Okay.
Now, number two, when we see a word like inside this description of what evidence is, we see a word saying information. So we can go to search what information is. All of us can do that. Yeah. So I don't want to subject it. After we've done it, then you can ask me the question you're asking me. Once I make a point, yeah, then you can ask me whatever you want to ask me. But let's do the definitions and agree if we like the definitions or not.
Okay, so if we go here to information, it's facts provided or learned about something or someone.
All right, let me just pull it up 1 second. Yeah.
So again, it's still to do with facts.
Listen,
So,
let me just pull it up. Let me pull it up. Yeah. Okay. So it says number one, facts provided or learned. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Learned, facts learned. All right. So I can learn something, right? And it stays in my head, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't say, if you will agree with me, it doesn't say facts written. It says facts learned. All right. So say, for example, I was in North Africa, Arabia, for a year and over a year, twice. And I was with or at least over 100 people that I know that we were there. Okay. We did not write anything. There's no records. We didn't even have a valid passport in there. We didn't visit any police station or any immigration check. All right. We entered and left almost like refugees. There is no records of us being there. Am I enough to tell you and provide evidence like I am the evidence? Am I enough? Or are we saying for everything that ever happens on the earth, it must be written by some scholar somewhere before we accept it or deny it or recognize its existence? So I'm giving you my perfect example. Yeah. I was in those areas for well over a year with stories that can fill three volumes with quite a number of people who lost their lives. Yeah. But none of that would go in the records. And we're human. None of that's going to go in the records. Now, if I say to somebody, I was in those areas, and they say to me, where is the evidence? What am I going to do?
Okay, so yeah. So again, with things like this, we need corroborative. This is why the key word was corroborative evidence. So, for example, you can tell your story, which is a form of oral story. Now, you may say something that is specific that we can now go into that location and see if we can verify your story. Okay? So what can you provide that verifies the story? So now if we're talking about Moses right now, what can you produce that verifies the Moses story of the Bible?
What we can produce. Yes.
Kalam, I feel like you gotta be fair still. Like he's asked you a very good question there, yeah, and I don't think there was a good answer. What he's saying is, look, if he travels to say Wales tomorrow, yeah, and drives his car down to Wales, and then decides he's driving straight back, and there's nobody's made a record of this. Can you then reject that he ever went there?
That's why I said nobody's rejecting it. Just like the Moses story, I've said to you, I've accepted it as an oral story. There's no rejection. Okay.
Oh.
Now, the moment you provide evidence, okay, that we can corroborate the story with, okay, then I can accept it as something that historically happened.
Okay, what evidence would you accept is the question. Because
Any
obviously
evidence that you bring that can corroborate the story.
Well, we've got the, like I said, we've got the Torah. We've got many different books.
The Torah is the story. Okay.
Yeah.
The Torah is the story. So give me something
But it's
That's
also a
external.
historical writing, and it's actually a historical. It's a history book as
No
well as a
problem.
prophecy. So it's like a historian writing. You know what I mean?
No
You accept
problem.
these historians, but why don't you accept the historians in the Bible?
No problem. We accept historians. We accept, Moses's Torah and so forth. We accept it for what it is. Okay, so that's one thing. But when we're dealing with history, right? What we now look for is something that corroborates it. Okay, so give us something else. Just like when we read Herodotus and all of these great historians, right? We see that as one account. Now, what we're looking for is something else that corroborates that account.
Okay, but
We're
I
now looking
understand
at,
that.
is
But
there anybody else in history that spoke about this? Is there any epigraphy? Is there any iconography? Is there any material culture that's left over that we
Okay,
can actually corroborate the story with?
okay,
okay,
brother.
I understand that. But your earlier statement said there's no evidence. There's no evidence of Moses. When really that's incorrect. There is evidence, but you want more evidence. That's what you're saying.
No, we've got the story, which is we already stated that that is the first evidence. Okay, that's the first thing that's talking about something. Okay, this is the first body of information that's talking about something. Now we want something else to confirm it or to verify it. We need corroborative evidence now. That's all we're asking for.
Yeah, but like
And this is
okay,
and this is not just new to Israelites and Hebrews or nothing like that. This is to everything. If it's to do with Kemet as well, we want a second source that corroborates it. Everything in history, that's what we want. As historians,
so
that's what we want
so
to confirm.
have you got a second source a secondary source that corroborates the story of I don't know um let's go with Horus then and Seth. Do you have a secondary source that confirms that?
So these are mythologies. So there's loads of sources that talk about the story of these two people.
But
But there is no source
we're
to
not talking about
hold on, hold on, hold
stories.
on, hold on. There's no source to confirm that these people were actual physical human beings that existed. So we reject that they are human physical beings that actually existed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but like Kemet doesn't teach that they're like historical people. But what I'm saying is the story, the actual
No,
story. No, I'm
no,
saying the
that's not
mythology that
true.
you accept. I'm saying the mythology that you're accepting. Yeah. Do you have corroborating evidence for that?
Okay, so let me say to you, that's not true. If you open up a book of Manetho, and he talks about these beings, has to say that there may be, anybody reading it may deduce that they're real beings, right? And I'm saying I reject them as being real beings because we have overwhelming evidence to suggest that these are mythological beings. You see what I'm saying? So it's not me being biased against Hebrews. We do this with our own stuff.
Okay, fair enough. Still, I accept that. If you like, if that's the principle you're holding for your own stuff, then that's fair enough, innit? But all I'm saying is, like, you have to, if you're gonna be asking for evidence, you have to know what kind of evidence you're willing to accept. Like, like we, we know we ain't gonna have his passport. Sometimes I feel like when people saying this, the one his driving license or something, like, what do you accept? All there is gonna be on this person is writing. That's all you're gonna find because yeah, we don't bury ourselves like the Egyptians. Yeah, you're not gonna find like some massive tomb with
Let me,
Moses carved in there and all that.
um,
You're just gonna have a normal grave, like it could
brother
be any
Ezra,
skeleton in the ground. You know what I mean? So
brother Ezra,
like you're not gonna find that evidence.
let me tell Kalam a little story. Let me tell Kalam a little story, just so it can add a little bit more to the example. All right.
Yeah, yeah, go on.
I came back from the wilderness in the Middle East, yeah, and then I came back to Nigeria. I came back by land through the desert, all right. Then I came to Nigeria and I picked up my British passport. And with the British passport, I then returned through the same desert route. Then I got stuck in the country just above Nigeria, Niger Republic. and they asked me to produce my evidence for my eligibility to travel through Nigeria and Niger Republic. So I produced a British passport to them. Yeah, a British passport. We're talking about 1991. Yeah, they got the British passport and they still locked me up in prison. Yeah, this is a valid, authorized, British mandated passport from the embassy, yeah, of the British government, and they still locked me up. I spoke to them, and their argument was, how can a black man have a British passport? Would they accept the evidence? So there's a clear example that sometimes evidence don't mean that people are gonna like it. People are not always gonna like evidence. Now, Brother Kalam, we could go on in history, in many types of histories, like the Roman history. Only Romans can corroborate Roman history, right? We have a Bible called the Israelites book. Would you accept another Israelite besides Moses corroborating Moses? Would you accept that as evidence?
Yep, I would.
So if Joshua corroborates Moses, is that okay?
If Joshua corroborates Moses, and yeah, if Joshua corroborates Moses and it's written in the supposed time frame of Moses, then I would accept it.
Excuse me, what do you mean what do you mean if it's written in the time frame? What do you mean? Give us details.
That's what's corroboration. Like, it needs to be during the same time. Okay, so now let's do this, right? I can corroborate, like, I'm an Israelite and I can corroborate Moses' existence then of 4,000 years ago. Like, I personally, nobody will accept that. If I now write that Moses existed, nobody's going to accept it because it's not during the time frame of Moses. So if Israelites are writing, for example, yeah, we had, Josephus, who wrote about Jesus, sorry. We had certain people, Israelites and Greeks, writing about Jesus roughly 100 years after Jesus's, demise. We accept it as being something that's closer to the truth because it was during roughly the same time span. But if you can't provide anything that was roughly during the same time span, it's
Kalam.
like very difficult to accept it.
Nah, Kalam, be fair. Yeah,
Sorry,
you know that this guy is a witness.
Before you say that, let me just shout out John McDermott. He says the two pillars on each side of the Red Sea, could this qualify as physical evidence which have Moses named on the pillars? Yeah, there you go. So if you've got two pillars on the Red Sea that is dated back to the time of Moses, utilizing the orthography. So if you saw the chisel, if Moses' name is chiseled in, right, and the orthography and everything else fit, as in roughly during the time frame as Moses, then that is like supportive evidence to suggest that this story could be true, or Moses was recorded in these earlier times. So that would be supportive evidence. Yes, John McDermott.
Yes.
Go ahead, Ezra. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, but okay, that's cut and dry. That is, you get me? Because Joshua walked with Moses, talked with Moses, is a first-hand witness to Moses, and he corroborates Moses. So the standard that you gave, yeah, has been met, and it's a wrap.
Okay, so the standard has been met, right?
Yeah.
And when was this story of Joshua written? Pen down.
It doesn't matter because he was walking. He was alive in the time of Moses, and he was actually walking with him, first-hand witness. So it's not no secondary source; it's a primary source. But like, regardless of when he wrote it,
Joshua is 13th century BC.
come on, man.
And
The manuscript. Does
no,
Joshua have
brother Kalam,
Does Joshua have his own book?
this is why I was asking you what you mean. Excuse me. So I was asking you what you have in mind when you say corroborative details, all right? Because you must accept that what you're doing is what is done in the in the modern day era of curating history, for example, because it suits the narrative of those who are controlling history right now. All right. Some of the history just before the Middle Ages, yeah, were all ancient history and they were all African history. It didn't suit the new powers on the earth right now to put those histories in perspective. That's why they can't show you anything. That's why they can't bring stuff out for you to validate anything because it would derail all the white supremacist ideas and ideology that they're pushing on the world, That's why they can't bring out corroborative, i.e. dates and just things that would corroborate, not even dates, because the way Israelites wrote their history is not the way you have like in a linear history of today's so-called classical history. We wrote our history according to the rulership of kings and clans and tribes and generations of people. We don't write according to the date of a so-called date that the Romans have put into place. I mean, me and you would write our history to say 2018 AD. We don't write history like that. We write history, i.e., in the time of so-so king. Now, only we know what we're talking about. We don't care if somebody else is going to say, well, when was the time of King so and so? We don't care because our history is from our perspective. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So I was saying you need to have a corroborative time frame. You need to give us those details because look, any established rules that you put down, we will check to see if it's consistent with all your so-called scholars and all other parts of history as well. All right.
So this is what I would suggest then. Because I'm not knocking you. Like other people may knock you guys. I don't knock you. I simply say that it's oral history. I accept it. Others won't accept your oral history. I accept it as oral history. But if you want to enter into the realms of academia, right? And this is what we try to bring across to our audience. We try to bring about, critical thinking. Okay, then just simply read up on history, read up on the methodologies that's being employed, and come on and give an argument based upon the field of history. That's all.
Yeah, we refuse to join into that model of so-called history. We refuse to do that, and I'll tell you why. Because you see, the history that's been written about, called ancient history. When you go to China, in fact, before you even go to China, when you're talking about the history of Muhammad, for example, they're not following this ADBC kind of model, are they? Are they following that?
Yeah, they are.
Are they not following the Hijra?
They're following the Hijra, but if you go into the history books, most Muslims will tell you that Muhammad was born in 570 AD.
But you know why they do that? You know why they do that, right?
They have their own calendar, but they also
exactly.
They have their own calendar, but they also align it, or should I say, cooperate it with the AD calendar.
They're doing that for a reason.
Yeah.
They're doing it so it's relative for people in the Western world, right?
Exactly. So
yeah, but we were not. This is the thing. We are not interested in that. Israel is not interested in the Western world. Just read up on the history of Rome and Jerusalem. Read up on that. We were not interested. According to us, yeah, everybody had to take their methodology from us, according to us.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why we have this gap now, whereby Everything you say, go and read history. Tell me, who are the people who lay down this methodology for this history you're talking about? Who are they?
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I just want to go back to historical evidence. I mean, I think it's disingenuous, Ty, that you and Ezra would actually call the Bible a primary source. Hear my reason. If you're claiming that you was living in Egypt and then almost a multitude left out of Egypt, crossed over a Red Sea, drowned the Egyptians, and then you wandered for another 40 years. There are actually scholars out there looking for archaeological evidence, like Israel Frankenstein, who has nothing to do with Egypt or anything. He's just a professor. He went looking for traces of these things and he couldn't find them. Why did he go looking for traces of these things? Because if he found archaeological evidence, he could now say what the Bible was saying matches to these stories. But you can't have people wandering. Hold on, Ezra, hold on. You can't have people wandering around in a specific area with no toilets, no bathroom, no food. I don't know how they cook. There was no shower for 40 years. Children are walking around. They have to be evidence there. And that's what we're looking for to back up the enormous claim of a Red Sea being parted and Egyptians being drowned. So when we go into the Egyptian source, like Dr. Anana, and he searched the Egyptian records, we can find Thutmoses, but we can't find Moses. We can't find evidence of the Moses that's written about in the Bible. So therefore, it is not for Kalam to try and give you evidence. You're supposed to come to us and say, we just didn't find one wagon wheel in the Red Sea or the Reed Sea, which they mistranslate. You're supposed to come and say, look, they found a whole body of bones, which they found in the Reed Sea, and that could be the Exodus. But you're not giving us anything apart from the Bible. The Bible cannot be a primary source against itself. That's not academia.
Hello, yo, rich kid. Like,
you want to say
I
something?
just feel like what you started off with was just like, that was silly. You said, yeah, because this one random guy, yeah, went up there and couldn't find nothing. That means, yeah, it's not true. And then you've gone and said, yeah, that it's not a primary source when somebody writes basically a biography of them being with somebody and going through a certain experience. That's silly, fam.
Yeah, but Kalam did ask you if Joshua had a separate book, because what you're talking about is the same story in the same Bible.
The book of Joshua.
Yeah.
How is that?
It's in the Bible, though, right?
It's not in the Torah. It's a separate book. Moses.
That's right.
Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua. It's not. It's two different authors here.
Yeah, but it's in the same Bible, right?
No, because the book became a Bible later. Rich, could you know this stuff?
No, sorry, go on. Say what you're saying, Ezra.
Like, you know that there were separate books and they got canonized at a later date. You know this?
Okay.
So let's not be silly, fam.
Yeah, but I don't understand what the point is.
All right.
The point is, yeah, it's a primary source because it's a biography of somebody who had an experience with a different person and documented their experience. That's a primary source.
Now you do understand what Ezra is trying to explain to you, yeah? That's why we've always said to you, Muslims sometimes say the Bible has been corrupt. If you've heard me before, I've told them there's nothing called the Bible, that the Bible has been corrupted, because our books were not supposed to be bound together like that. All right. But the Europeans have come and taken several of our books from several different authors, yeah, and made it into one book. They made it into one book. Now, if you didn't have it made into one book, you would go around and finding all these corroborations from different eras of history corroborating the same Bible that you now have today, or corroborating the people who came before them. Maybe that's the one thing you guys don't want to. I'm sure Kalam understands this. I'm sure Kalam understands that. But for some reason, It's just lost on some people when they want to say you can't use the Bible to validate the Bible. No, we're using books which were separate for many centuries. They were separate books for many centuries. They weren't the same.
Okay.
So those authors in them have a valid point of reference when they continue that line of tradition, quoting from Moses, quoting from Elijah, quoting from Isaiah. Those are valid points of references.
Okay. To TY, did you say earlier that the book of someone said earlier that Joshua was 1300 BCE? Is that correct?
Joshua.
Yeah. So when was Moses? What's the date for Moses?
Around the same time, it says.
1300 BCE.
Yeah.
So you would agree, according to our timeline, we can go now and fact check what Pharaoh Moses went up against.
Say again?
Because you've given us a timeline of 1300 BCE, we can now go and fact check against the king's list of which Pharaoh. Hold on, let me finish, Ty. I'll let you speak, right?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So we can go and fact check the Pharaoh that Moses went up against. And I want it on record today that you said it was 1300 BCE. You agree?
I agree with what you're saying, yeah. But what we're trying
Okay, so what? Hold on. Let me just get it out there so the people it's on record. So you're saying, hold on. So you're saying the Exodus took place at 1300 BCE.
Now listen to what we're saying. I hope you listen to what we're saying.
I'm listening.
Yeah. You must understand. I didn't create the what do you call it? The calibration. I didn't create the calibration for BC or AD or for when time began or when time stopped. And I've put it out to you. We don't go by BC or AD as Israelites.
So why did you give me the date for Joshua then?
Say that again.
So why did you give us the 1300 BCE for Joshua? Because
that's what they've written down. We just
but okay, so you don't believe that then? I just want to get if
it's not. Listen, it's not about belief. You see,
no, but when you hold on, Ty, hold on. But I don't want to go on a rant. I just want to understand you. When you said Joshua and Moses is at 1300 BCE, are you saying that that's what they say, or are you saying that's what it is?
Now listen to me, yeah? You want to hear me and you want to understand. So please listen with a mind. Don't listen as if you want to win a point, yeah? Listen like you want to hear what I'm saying. You don't have to accept it. It's not about winning or losing right now. It's just like hearing what each other has to say, all right? We never went, yeah, Israelites, you just need to go into the Bible, yeah? Don't believe me. Go into the Bible. We don't do BC, AD. We just don't do it. That's number one. So if you can validate my point that we don't do AD, BC, if you can validate my point, everything else becomes easy for you. Now the Romans are the one who come along and now start to put AD, BC. And then your modern historians now went into Egypt and start, messing up everything inside Egypt. They are the only ones who know why they did it.
Ty, you're missing the point, mate. You're going on a rant. You just said you're going on a rant, Ty. You just said Joseph and Moses is exactly 1300 BCE. Now I don't care who did AD and who did BC, and we don't do this and we don't do that. You gave me the date for 1300 BCE, so I'm asking you to stand on your square in front of everyone that's watching. Are you saying that Moses and Joshua, the time frame for them was 1300 BCE? Yes or no?
That's what we've got written down by the Hebrew.
And do you, as a Hebrew Israelite, do you believe that?
That's what we know. It's
okay, so do you believe that that is the correct date? Yes or no?
Brother, if you hear my question,
stop buck dancing, Ty. Stop buck dancing.
No, just hear my question, yeah? You've heard my answer, yeah? The same way we ask Kalam, he says he doesn't do belief, all right? And he probably heard that, he's heard me say that as well. I don't do belief, I know. What we know right now is the dates they put there. But we are not bothered with the dates. We are bothered with our own eschatology.
I hope that's you, Ty. But for me and for academia, what you're worried about, fine. If you want to worry about that, fine. I'm worried about my soul. So therefore, if you're going to purport a story such as the one you did, and that story has a negative effect on my ancestors, then it's from my duty to search the facts, what really happened and what did not happen. So if I'm going by dates, and you said Moses and Joshua around the same time, 1300 BCE, why can't you just stand on 1300 BCE? You keep saying the Romans did that, we don't do this. So why did you quote 1300 BCE? Why?
Because that's what they've written down. That's all I can.
But I'm asking you, do you believe it?
That's what I know. Can you stop this?
So you believe that date then? Yes or no?
I accept it.
Okay, but that's fine.
I don't accept them days.
And that's the problem I have.
Any of them days.
Both of you are Hebrew Israelite. You're talking about a knowledge like Egypt, which is way beyond your pay grade. But yet still you and Ezra can't even come together on a date.
Listen,
no, we don't listen. Listen. We don't need to come together on a date. What's important? Listen.
Wait.
Why? Hold on, Ezra. Hold on, Ezra.
I was studying Egypt well before I came to the Bible, so like you can stop all that talk there.
No, Ezra, I'm asking you. Why don't you believe? Why don't you agree with Thai dates?
Because I don't believe in any dates, Egyptology dates or biblical dates. It's all carbon dating nonsense.
Okay, so when he gave the issue of 1300 BCE, was he wrong?
I'm saying, yeah, I don't believe in any dates that comes from carbon dating, yeah, because it's a flawed technology which all scientists agree on. So
okay, I'm not just depending on carbon dating. I'm looking at literature because people are writing at the time. So when Thai gave us the date of 1300 BCE, was he wrong on that date or not?
Did you just say people were writing at the time of Moses? Do you what literature do you have from the time of Moses to say that you know what date it is?
No, people were writing at that time, right?
Who?
Well, the Egyptians were writing.
So what?
And you say the Hebrews are writing.
So how do you know? So how do you know that those like what time it was?
Because we're going from the king's list.
So which king was it then?
This is what I want to find out. That's why I'm asking Ty
Yes, so
if it was 1300. I don't know which king it was because every time we give you a date or a king, you say, well, it wasn't that time. But Ty was brave enough to say it was 1300 BCE.
Fam, you've never gave me a king or a date, so why are you lying?
No.
And then and what I'm saying is, yeah, like all I'm saying is our biblical dates, yeah, will not line up with the scholarly dates and debating because there's always going to be this big debate because we don't believe in carbon dating. It's flawed technology. They're going to tell you that half of a woolly mammoth is 40,000 years and the other half is 80,000 years. How can you rely on technology like that?
Okay. We're not even talking about carbon dating. Carbon dating is not even in the mention of like the whole dating or the chronology of ancient Egyptians. But it's almost 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay, and it's dragging for me, to be honest with you. We came on. We spoke about what did I present again? Rich Kid.
You was presenting the Talmud and the exegesis of the scriptures about Jesus.
Oh yes, yeah, about Jesus, about Moses. That was it. Moses being educated in Egypt, in that priesthood, and then also being educated in Midian or on the Cush, on the Jethro's priesthood. And again, like this, all the information that was necessary for Moses to go forth into the wilderness or receive his, prophecies and so forth was all taught in Kemet, produced by an Egyptian man named as Moses. Again, I keep saying it, that this religion or this literature, should I say, this literature was the byproduct or the offspring of Kemet. And I think that is safe to say. I think we're firm in it, no doubt, right? From a biblical paradigm. Now, I'm not even going into, again, I'm going to separate that from the biblical paradigm from actual reality and dating of manuscripts and so forth. So Yasharallah, I don't know how you're going to say wrong, man. Moses was an Egyptian, fact. Moses was educated in Egypt, fact. Moses was educated in Cush, fact. Moses received his revelation under the tutelage of Jethro. Facts. And there's
No, no,
nothing more.
Callum. I wanted to. That's why I jumped on the panel actually, because that comment you were saying about Jethro, yeah, like you was trying to make out that. Well, it seemed like he was making out that Jethro taught Moses all that he knew, and Moses always went to him for counsel. No, it was a counsel in one specific thing, on how to divide the rulers and the people who are being ruled. Jethro told him to separate the people in numbers of, like, rulers of 50 people, rulers of 20 people, rulers of 10, and this and that. And Moses took his counsel, and Jethro went back to his land. That's it. There weren't no, I'm showing you this spiritual practice, I'm showing you this. There's none of that. You know what I mean?
But he was wax wise in the mysteries and so forth of Egypt,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, he was wax wise, but
okay. So like what Gabs was saying. Okay, sorry, sorry, Ezra.
I'm not saying like Jethro never taught him nothing spiritually.
Okay.
According to the Bible.
All right. No, according to the Bible, okay. According to the Bible, he was given over. He was educated by Jethro prior. Okay. He was given his staff, or the rod, right, which is another symbolic thing again, from the garden of Jethro. Jethro educated him in his own priesthood system for him to be a caretaker, okay, or a leader in the priesthood, where Moses was looking after the flock of Jethro. So that's all written in the Bible. That's all written in, the other writings, such as the Midrash and the Mishnah and so forth.
Now, I'm glad that you've just clarified that, though, because from earlier it was sounding like, you were saying that Moses got all his counsel and his teachings from this Jethro, and it was only specific incidences concerning, like, the people and how to number them.
And you need to put in, Ezra, hold on. You need to put in again why it was even necessary that their paths even crossed, because you must keep in mind Jethro was Moses' in-law. That's the only reason they're talking. And it's not unheard of to listen to your father-in-law for advice. It doesn't mean that he's gone to him for education.
Ty, do you agree with Ezra that Moses was wax wise in the learning of Egyptian wisdom? Do you agree with that?
Say that again, sorry.
Do you agree that Moses was educated in Egypt?
Listen, we've covered all of that before.
Yeah, I just want to know, just like how Ezra agreed, do you agree with that, yes or no?
Now listen, let me put in some detail, all right? Let's not pretend.
Let's just go by what the Bible said, Ty. Let's stop talking about Scotland and Jerusalem and going from Jerusalem to Scotland. I'm just asking you to look at the Bible. I just asked Ezra. He didn't have to go into a story. I asked him a question. He said, yeah. Do you believe that Moses was educated in Egypt, yes or no?
All right, let me put it like this, yeah? Okay. Joseph educated Egypt in all they know. How about that? Joseph educated Egypt in everything.
And this is what Gabs asked you the other night. So if Joseph educated Egypt in all they know, then when we worship Ra, Isis, Ma'at, then why are you blaming us? You taught us that stuff.
No, that's your deviation. That's your deviation. It's got nothing to do with
Joseph. Who taught us that deviation?
You taught yourself.
You're a clown.
Oh, there you go again. You taught yourself. Now, next thing to brother Kalam is this, yeah. You're being very tricky in what you're doing, Kalam. All right, because while you have a right to say Israelites were in Egypt, I'm not really bothered. Honestly, I just come on for clarity. So just for people who want to learn, who want to really know, yeah. Can you explain to me why Israel decided to form and become Israel and not be called Egyptians anymore? Can you explain that to us?
Why Israel formed? Israel formed before they entered into Egypt.
Yeah, I didn't say when. I said why. Why? Difference between why and when. Why?
But that's what I'm saying to you. They were formed before. And the why is because Jacob had a wrestling match with an angel and he was named Israel.
And where'd you get that story from?
That's in Genesis.
So is that from Egyptian papyri or the walls of Egypt?
No, that's from Genesis.
And where is that Genesis found?
In Genesis.
And what book is that, Genesis? Because you're very good giving us references.
Okay.
Right now it looks like you're stuck.
So that's inside of the Bible. Or if you wanted to go into the Torah, you can find that in the Torah, and that's called Bereshith inside of the Torah.
And the Torah is who is the Torah given to?
The Torah is attributed to Moses.
And Moses declares himself as a what? As of what nation?
He declares himself. Very good question. What does he declare himself? I don't know. You tell me. What does he declare himself?
That's it, brothers and sisters. He doesn't know. You could tell he's either lying or he started teaching in ignorance. Both of them is still the same thing.
What?
Okay.
If you don't know that, you don't know what to accept or what to reject.
Earlier on,
No, Kalam, you must admit. You must admit.
I made it very clear to you that this is not a Polaroid moment, right? I made it very clear to you that other people called him an Egyptian person.
No, I said, what did he call himself? What did he call himself?
Can I finish with you, okay?
Yeah.
So he called himself an Egyptian. There's not one point inside of the story that he never said he wasn't an Egyptian, okay? Furthermore, if you go into the Talmudic teachings, they also talk about Moses never correcting that he's not an Egyptian. And if you go into the story even further, even God viewed him as an Egyptian.
Brother,
so
we're gonna do that detailed. If you look at the first question, Brother Kalam, I'm not trying to argue with you.
Yeah.
Look at the first question. We are living in Great Britain, am I correct?
No, okay, Uncle Ty, this is what I want you to do, okay? Where does Moses declare himself not an Egyptian, and where does he declare himself an Israelite?
It's same in the book of the Torah.
Yeah, where? Because I've just shown you earlier on where he is labeled as an Egyptian. So can you?
His mom told him. His mom told him he was a Hebrew. Like his mom told him, like she knew.
Okay, so he has never declared himself.
Huh?
So me saying I don't know yet is completely correct. I don't know any place where he declares himself as an Israelite. And so far, it's proving that you lot don't know where he calls himself an Israelite neither.
No, listen.
So his mom told me where he declares himself.
Hold on.
Otherwise, I'm going to say you don't know neither.
Hold on. We wouldn't be saying no if we didn't have our own book. Yeah, it was clear from the core question. Why did Israel form? Israel formed. You said you went on to answer about why, and you put Jacob in there. Fine. When we came out of Egypt, one man was meant to lead us out of Egypt. Now, the Torah is credited to Moses writing it. Now, Moses couldn't be telling people that they are the chosen elect people, a kingdom of priests, only unto one creator called Israel, and he himself not know what he's talking about.
Nah, Ty, I got it.
Go ahead.
I've got it. Exodus 4:14. And the anger, we know he wrote this, innit? And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses, and he said, is not Aaron the Levite thy brother? So if Aaron's Moses' brother and he's a Levite, Moses is clearly calling himself a Levite too. And when he's writing this.
And they're Israel.
Levite is obviously a tribe of Israel. So there you go. He called himself a Levite and his brother.
So this is even like
just for clarity on that point, Ezra. Just for some clarity on that point.
Exodus 4:14 is talking about the Lord speaking and asking him, is Aaron not the lead?
No, but who wrote it though? We know the Lord speaking, but who wrote it?
So you're telling me then, for example, because Moses wrote the Bible and he was called an Egyptian, therefore he's an Egyptian, and he's declaring that he's an Egyptian then.
No, because obviously we know he's not ethnically Egyptian. That's a citizen.
So, so,
That's a
so we're clearly
citizen,
seeing,
fam. Like
that two people. So even here, it's not even talking about calling him an Israelite though.
you
But
could,
let's just
a
No,
Levite.
you've
no.
got two.
You know what I would
One person
suggest.
is calling him an
What I would
Egyptian, another
suggest.
person is calling him a Levite, right? So neither of those places is Moses himself declaring what he is.
Now
If he's
listen to
calling
this,
his brother of the same
Ezra.
parents a Levite,
Ezra,
then why
hold
is
on.
he calling himself
Hold on,
an
Ezra.
Egyptian?
Ezra, hold on.
Go on, go on.
What you've done for Kalam, is something he already probably knows, yeah. And I don't think he was actually trying to say just quote a script to me, because when we start doing things like that, it's like we ourselves are only just checking. You see,
No, no,
me.
but he says,
No,
go on.
hear what I'm gonna say. Hear what I'm gonna say. Me, you, and Kalam, yeah, we would probably call ourselves British right now. Okay.
No, no, no.
Listen, just hold on, just hold on, just hold on. Yeah, just hold on. Okay, if you wouldn't do it, yeah, I could easily call myself British because I've got a British passport. All right. So
All
if
right.
I call myself British now, does that mean if I don't say I'm Israelite, does that mean people don't know I'm Israelite? Or if I don't say I'm Nigerian, does that mean people don't know I'm Nigerian? Or do I
Yeah,
actually have do I have to write it down and quote
yeah,
a number of where I said it for
yeah,
people to know that I'm Nigerian and also British, like Paul was an Israelite and was also a Roman?
yeah. Exactly,
So what Kalam
exactly.
is doing it just reeks of too much ignorance. The main question, if you looked at it properly, was why was it necessary for us to have a book in the first place that comes out of so-called, and you like to say Egypt, Egypt, Egypt. We haven't had time to really question you about this thing because Egypt in those days, you know, is number one, is a Greek word. Number two, Egypt is not just one monolithic people. Egypt is like you would call Great Britain today, or the Roman Empire. That's what it stood for, Egypt. You're not focusing on the tribes. You're just saying they learned in Egypt. That's just like vague, ambiguous, vague, ambiguous language. There's no detail in there. Me and you, we're learning today in Great Britain. But some of us are not learning from British white citizens. Some imams in this country of Great Britain, they are learning from other imams, but they are learning inside Great Britain. It doesn't mean they're learning from great British people. They're still learning from each other in Great Britain. So who are they learning from? So Kalam, stop trying to be tricky with people who can't think.
Okay. So before I go to sleep, is there anything that you disagree with that you want me to clarify?
There's nothing we disagree with that we want you to clarify. I can see that, with all due respect, and I give you a lot of respect. I give you that on an intellectual level, even as a person. What I don't respect is when you don't want to make what is just easy to understand easy to understand. If you want to lay some claim to some kind of spiritual supremacy or whatever it is you want to make, you have to distinguish that within the tribes of so-called Egypt, within the tribes of so-called Kemet. You have to separate those people, put them in line, because I can assure you in Kemet, Nubia, Egypt, and all those regions, there's thousands of tribes. Not all of them were in rulership at every time, but those who were in rulership, even they have different nations. So if you would even care to tell us, can you please tell us, inside the so-called Kemet or Egypt, whichever word you want to use, who are those tribes today? Can you give me off of the top of your hand 5 of their names and where we can find them today? And let's have a look if they're still what you say they are.
So you want me to give you tribes, and for the purpose of seeing if they still practice the ancient Kemetic way? Is that what you're asking me?
No, I want you to listen. When you say Kemet, you've already told us before that, Kemet is a huge landmass which actually spills out of what we call classical Egypt. It spills out of that border. It spills into Arabia, almost spills into Persia, yeah, and then downwards into Africa. All right. So we know that. So in those land masses, we know there's thousands of different unique tribes and nations. All right. Not all of them are mentioned by name when you say Kemet or when you say Egypt. So when you say,
Brother Ty, can I just make my quick point before I go?
yeah,
Yeah. All right. And I just want to just like make it clear that what the brother was talking about with Moses's father-in-law, yeah, was the Jewish scholars. What them Jewish scholars were saying does not tally up with the Bible. Like he was not given no form of spiritual guidance. It was only guidance on delegating people and managing people, like and rulers and stuff like that. It was nothing spiritual.
Ezra, just before you go, for clarification, what language was the Hebrew written in that Moses had, the Torah?
The ancient Hebrew, in it, what we call today Paleo Hebrew.
Okay, clarification, Ty. What language was the Bible written in that was given to Moses?
Just to let you know, Ezra, me and Rich Kid, we've been down this line before. What he wants to do right now is for the audience.
No, I just want you to qualify what language it was written in.
Brother, you know I'm talking. If you don't talk,
you can't answer my question, sir.
If you don't talk, I'll finish earlier. If you talk, it just takes longer. All right.
Anyway, so, peace, brothers. Yeah, peace, bless up yourself.
Yeah, peace, Ezra. Peace.
All right. Yeah, just in case people are listening, I don't even think I need to answer that, because what you've done is do a tag team for Kalam so he gets off the hook and he has more time to think. Whereas you're going to deviate and distract and go on another tangent. So if Kalam can just answer the question we ask him, and when you're ready, Rich Kid, come on a one-on-one, let's do the debate, yeah?
You want to debate me?
Brother, you already did it, yeah? So let Kalam answer the question.
Yeah, okay, go on, fine. I thought you were talking to me.
Okay, I'm still asking, what is the purpose? Like, what do you want to do exactly? Because I don't want to waste the time.
Well, I just asked you a question. Did you hear the question?
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out, so name me the tribes, and then which ones are still practicing the ancient Kemetic ways? Is that what you're trying to say?
It's a question. I'm not saying anything, Brother Kalam. I know you heard the question. You probably just don't know what to answer, all right? Because I've never seen you take this slow to answer a question. So that just tells people exactly what's going on. Yeah, it's a
no.
The question.
I'm trying to understand the question.
Oh boy, I don't think Kalam don't understand this question. I think he don't know what to say. Repeating it one more time, just like. This is not the second time I've repeated this. We've done this the other time, yeah? I've said in ancient so-called Kemet that you keep quoting. If you want to call it Kemet, you want to call it Egypt, I really don't mind for right now, yeah? But what it used to be, according to what you even showed to us, was that it wasn't only limited by the so-called landmass of what we know as Egypt in people's minds, even on paper.
Yeah, but that's a different conversation, isn't it? We're talking about Moses.
Kalam, can I finish with Kalam? I'm trying to ask a question. Can I finish with Kalam? Yeah, yeah. And so it spills into Arabia, almost spills into Persia, spills into the lower Gulf region, spills into Africa. All right. So with that, in fact, it doesn't even stop there. It spills into Asia. Kemet spills into Asia. Okay. In all reality. Now listen to the question. All those places put together under one name called Egypt or Kemet or Cush, because even in our scriptures, it tells you there's a king who ruled all the way from Ethiopia up into India, 127 provinces. All right. Now they don't all speak the same language.
Just ask the question, T.Y., please, not a lecture.
And they don't all have the same name as a nation. So can you give me the examples of those nations that were under the name that you gave us, Kemet or Egypt, and tell me where they are today and tell me what they're doing if it correlates to what you think Kemet is? That's all I ask you.
Okay. So you have the Nubians, you have the Beja, you have the Kalenjins, you have the Chiluba, you have the Danites, you have the Copts, you have, I think that's about 7 so far. So what are they all doing? So the Copts are doing Coptic Christianity. The Beja of, I believe they've converted all um, to Islam, but they still, some of them still have their folk religion. The Nubians, the same thing. They're converted, but to either Christianity or Islam, and they still have their folk religion as well. Who else did I make mentions? The Kalenjin. I'm not too sure what they're doing. The Chaluba, the same as well. I'm not too sure. They might have been converted to, Christianity or so. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're not giving me any nations today. You're not giving me any. See, look, Israel came out of Kemet. Israel came out of Kemet, yeah, out of so-called Kemet and Egypt. We have a nation called Israel. Yeah, if our nation hadn't been destroyed, we would still be there as Israel. Now, we were not the only nation in there. What about all the other nations? You didn't even mention Ethiopia. You didn't mention Ethiopia. So you must be reading from Google somewhere. You didn't mention Ethiopia.
You have the
You mentioned Ethiopia. What about Ethiopia? Was Ethiopia also among Kemet?
No, the
It
Copts.
wasn't.
No, let me just talk. So you have the Copts, okay? They're not a nation at present because even though they're part of the Egyptian nation, they're one ethnicity inside, which is being dominated by the Arab Egyptians, right? Then I made mention of the Nubians, okay? The Nubians exist in Upper Egypt, which is another ethnicity which is dominated by the Arab Egyptians in total. They're part of the Egyptian nation, but they're one ethnicity within inside of Egypt. Then I spoke about the Beja people. Yeah, the Beja people. They're also in Sudan and Somalia region as well, right? But they're one ethnicity that don't make up the whole of Sudan and Beja. Okay, and we can continue and go on and on with the other ethnicities as well. So these are different ethnicities that were part of, right? But they don't, most of them don't have their own nation. They're just ethnicities within inside of the whole.
Is Kush part of that old Kemet, old Egypt?
So Kush, at certain points, would have been part of the Kemetic Empire, and other parts, they would have been their own independent empire, or at certain points, they would have taken over what we consider to be the Kemetic Empire.
Was Meroe also part of that Kemet?
So Meroe or Meroe is not actually an ethnic group, but it's a place.
No, that's not the question. You see, you love to dodge questions. That's not the question.
I'm just making a clarification for you. So, because we're talking about ethnicities, we're talking about empires. I just want to make a clarification to everybody who's listening in so they don't get confused. So Meroe was a particular location in Sudan, Sudan region, okay, and that was ruled out of Meroe. It ruled during the Roman,
Brother, you're answering the wrong thing because people get they'll get slated with that. I won't remember the question anymore. You just said yes or no, or and then.
Sorry, can I just interject because it's going to go back and forth, and I need to go. Just Ty.
No,
I need to go.
You're trying to relieve.
No. You can carry on with Kalam if you want, but I can see it's going to go back and forth. So I just wanted to ask you a question before I go.
No, don't break up my question.
No, I just wanted to ask. You can carry on with Kalam. I just want to ask you a question.
I won't answer you right now because I haven't finished my question with him.
Yeah, but you're going to go back and forth, and I just want to ask you a question.
I'll do you a favor. I will not answer until I finish with him. How about that?
Okay, go.
This is rude. This is how they behave. They keep taking over for one another.
Yeah, but when Ezra just did it a minute ago, you allowed him, correct?
No, I don't allow him. It's not on my platform.
He just said he wanted to go, and can you allow him to speak, and you allowed him. But when I say it, it's a different story.
I cannot stop Ezra on Brother Kalam.
I just want the people to know when Moses got the Torah. Did you say yes or no?
I will not answer.
Did you say yes or no that Moses received the Torah? And the language that the Torah was written in was Yoruba. Did you say that yes or no?
I will not answer you until I finish.
You can't answer it. You know why? Because you're not truthful. No man or God, I think, like to lie to the highest part of themselves. And you keep doing that because you can't answer a simple question.
When I finish with Kalam, honestly, I'll stay on with you for 6 hours if you want. All right? When I finish with Kalam, I'll stay on with you for as long as you like, as long as I don't get tired. We'll let Kalam finish, all right? So is it also real that Meroe was part of Kemet and so-called Egypt, Brother Kalam?
Meroe would have been part of the Kushite Empire. It quite possibly could have been part of the Kemetic Empire.
Okay,
As
so
far as
fair.
I know, it
Fair
was
enough.
part
That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. What other name did the Greeks call Meroe?
what other name did the Greeks call Meroe?
Yeah.
I don't know. Possibly Nubia, but I don't know.
All right, they call them Ethiopia.
They
All right.
called Meroe Ethiopia.
Yeah, that's one other name they call them. Yeah.
Oh, you mean they called a broad expanse Ethiopia, not just one
Look, brother,
location?
brother, I'm not gonna go into this expanding of words to use it because when you say a word, I don't start to minimize or expand it. If we're gonna be doing that, we're all welcome, but it just means we'll never get anywhere. I'm just
I'm
telling you
bringing
a simple.
clarification, like saying that
I'm
London,
answering you. The Greeks did that. That's all I'm saying.
it's
I won't answer for them. I won't answer for the Greeks who did that. I
okay.
can't answer for them. All I'm saying is, as everything else is written down, like we consider part of history, this is also written down. All right, that's all I'm trying. And my point is, if Ethiopia is also part of Kemet and Egypt, by that extension of linguistic variety, yeah, all I'm trying to say is you should include Ethiopia into that landmass, yeah, and into that philosophy, because we know clearly that even average Ethiopians would have spilled over into the landmass of Ethiopia. Like you have the Nubians and you have the Kenyans doing the same. It's no big deal. You have the Yemenis, the Somalis. Is a huge admixture in there. So all I wanted you to do is put that in there and then to check what they are doing now and who they are if they don't have a nation. They have a nation of their own. Within that nation, they still have tribes. And those are the things you have to focus on rather than calling everybody Kemet, everybody Egypt, everybody who comes under that landmass. You just slant it as one name, Kemet and Egypt. And that's wrong.
No, well, we don't call them Egypt. We call it Kemet.
That's what I just said. That's what I just said right now.
Yeah.
But you use the words interchangeably sometimes. And it's
No,
hard to
I would use the term ancient Egypt, or I would use the term Kemet, because those are the right terms. Egypt is only something that is modern, and it's the boundaries of what we know.
Well, we talked about that yesterday, and you agreed that it was the Greeks who gave that name, because I keep going back to that. So I don't think it's an issue here. The
Okay.
issue is to focus on the tribes that were in and around and near that area you called Kemet, because you can't even account. You see what you've done? You're not even accounting for the tribes in the way they exist today. Not all of them retain the names that they used to retain in those times. Many names have changed for the convenience of today. Those are the examples I'm hoping that you can give me to show me that you can still see those people in Kemet. Because you mentioned the Copts and a couple of other names I can't remember in Egypt. Yeah, but they're still in that landmass called Egypt. But that's not the only people and place under the Kemet empire, is it?
No, and the people that I made mention of, for example, the Beja people, they're in Sudan
There
and
you go. So now Sudan,
and
Sudan
Eritrea.
today, now that's what I'm trying to get at. The
Yeah,
Bedouin people in Sudan, in where? Where is it?
Sudan, Eritrea,
They-
and Somalia, Eritrea, and Ethiopia.
There you
Or
go. So
Sudan,
that's
Sudan.
what I'm talking about as names of new nations or tribes. Just the same way Israel had its own name and tribe. And according to our eschatology and history, we still retain the name Israel. They retain the name Beja, Sudan, Copts, Ethiopian, Eritrean. That's their new names. We have our new name. Can you show me the people who are called Kemets today by that stretch? Can you show me who are called Kemets today?
Again, like the Kemetic people, it's an empire. When an empire dies out, okay, the people aren't gonna call themselves by the empire name. they're going to call themselves by their, possibly by their ethnicity or whatever else names they call themselves by. So, for example, you have the Bedja people, who was known as the Magi people, okay? Um, already within inside of Kemet, but they knew that they were part of the Kemetic Empire, but their ethnicity was Bedja. You had people of Tarseti inside um, of Kemet, right? They've always been known as Tarseti. You have the people known as Panihi or the Nehisis, right? They've always been known as the Nehisis, but they understood that they were part of the Kemetic Empire.
That's
Right?
the thing. That's where we have a problem, brother. You see,
Let me
because
finish. There's loads of different ethnicities within inside of the Kemetic Empire. Nobody's saying that they're one monolith people. We're saying this is a region, a landmass, or an empire, right, that has loads of different ethnicities, right? Just the same way that you had Hebrews that were
fair
part of
enough, I understand that. But listen what I'm saying. I understand that, brother
the
Kalam. But when you keep saying, Moses or anybody else learned from a Egyptian, you didn't even say a Kemetian, you said an Egyptian. So you first make a differentiation between a distinction between those two names, so I can now pin my question a bit more clearly. So who did Moses learn from? An Egyptian or a Kemetian? Which one?
Okay, so according to the Bible paradigm.
Oh no, don't go by the Bible if it's not convenient. Go by your own records.
No, there isn't no records. There is
There
the
you
Bible.
go. That just rounds up the whole thing.
Bible.
You don't have any records.
Because Moses is not a person that's recorded in history.
No, brother Kalam, you don't have anything. The Bible is doing you.
You're asking him for evidence, and then you're speaking over him, Ty. I mean,
No,
how can he explain himself?
Me and him are talking to each
Yeah,
other.
but you're talking over him. I can't even hear him. Everybody's trying to listen.
No,
you're asking for a thing. Let him give you the evidence.
You're always the same secretary.
Come on, Ty. You're asking him a question. Just let him explain himself, and then you can go in.
It sounds like you're crying.
But if you're talking over him, no one can hear you. That's the point I'm making.
Sounds like you're crying for Argentina right here.
Okay, so I'm gonna mute Uncle Ty, right? And we need to just have some order, like one person at a time speaking. You asked for a question, asked the question, I answered you the question, but you were actually speaking over, and a lot of people in the comment section, are saying that you are cutting over. Like, so again, let's jump back into it. So Ty, if you've got any other questions, lay them out, but let me finish finish answering.
I just said to you, make the distinction between when you say Moses learned from Egypt. You always quote in the Bible, but you make it sound like Kemet have any history to tell you about Moses, and you don't. That's number one. Now, even if you want to just like kind of circle around Moses, go off tangents and say he did exist somehow, yeah, you need to tell us with distinction, whom did he learn from? Did he learn from Egypt as a landmass, or did he learn from a certain people? And distinguish that people clearly from what you now say is the empire of Kemet. Because I want to hone in. I want to hone in properly. Yeah, that's what I want to do. I hope you see where I'm going.
Okay, no problem. So according to the Bible, it says that Moses was an Egyptian. Moses grew up in Pharaoh's household. Moses, therefore, would have been schooled as part of the, how can I put it, the royal educational system. Okay. And it also says that Moses was, let me just get the quote, says that Moses was learning all of the wisdom of the Egyptians. Okay, so therefore, Egyptians would have taught Moses for approximately, or he was educated for approximately 40 years. This is what the Bible is either saying explicitly or alluding to. Okay, so, and Egypt, okay, if we're going to now go outside of the realms of the Bible, actually, no, let me stay in the realms of the Bible before I start to go outside. Egypt, okay, is part of the landmass of Ham. It's one of the provinces of Ham, or the land of Ham. Okay, now if we are to go outside of the Bible, we understand okay, that Egypt is part of the Kemetic Empire. Does that make sense?
Did all the rulers of Egypt or Kemet, did they say they're from Egypt? Did they say that in those words that they are from Egypt? Did they say that?
According to the Bible, or what are we talking?
According to anything.
So according to their records, most of them would say, I am the Lord of Tamaray, I'm the Lord of Kemet, I'm the Lord of Tawi, i.e. the two lands, Upper and Lower Egypt. I am a Nesut, meaning I sprang out of.
Did any of them say he's the Lord of Egypt?
Sorry, they utilize.
Did any of them, no, brother, it's just a simple question. Did any of them say they are the Lord of Egypt?
Okay, so if we're going to play this semantic game, all right.
It's just a question, semantics.
I'm saying if we're going to play this.
I mean, it's just a simple question, isn't it?
Okay, so if we're going to say the semantic game and say because they never use the word Egypt, right? I can simply say they also never use the word Lord. And then I'll have to start speaking to you in the Medoneta language, and then nobody's going to understand what is going on. But we understand the terms that we're using.
Brother, when you read in the Bible, yeah, and you quote, yeah, that Moses learned in Egypt, did I argue with that? Did I say that semantics?
Well, okay, so if you're not going to say semantics, yeah, then they did say that they were Lord of Egypt then.
And so what word did they use? No, listen, you see, you didn't answer the question again. Kalam strikes me as a person who wants to win rather than, as you say, as you claim, that you just want people to know and to see information.
Okay.
Right now you're defending, hold on. You're defending one part of dissemination of information, which is de-information, which is taking away information. All right, that's what you're doing, and that's like a old way of ruling people. All right, so it's just a simple question. When you came and you said Moses and you quoted a book, I didn't argue with you. You quoted a rabbi, I didn't argue with you. I didn't say you're using the word Egypt and that's semantic. I didn't say that. Now, when I ask you a question, I'm not even making a statement. I asked a question. Did any of those kings or rulers of Kemet ever say they're king of Egypt and or in Egypt? Now you said I'm using semantics. I mean, how is it?
Okay, yeah, they said that they're the king of Egypt, yes.
Can you show us where they said Egypt?
Okay, so they said that.
I'm talking about, I'm talking about. I'm not talking about what somebody said they said. They saying it themselves.
Yeah, so they will say that they're the Lord of the two lands, i.e. Egypt, Upper Egypt and Lower.
I.e., they put I.e. there as well.
No, I'm saying I.e. because I need to explain.
This brother is not, you're not being honest right now, brother Kalam. You're not being honest. You're not being honest. And it's not, this is not something against the person. It's something just with the information. This is the information, brother. If they didn't say something, why put it in there that they said it? Just say what they said. Let people hear what they said. That's all you need to do, innit?
So why can't you do that when I ask you questions?
Look, Secretary Rich Kid, just hold on, all right?
No, you always want me to hold on, but why can't you do the same, what you're asking another person to do?
Because he's got a mouth of his own. Are you like his secretary?
No, you. When I ask you questions, you butt dance, and now you're asking Kalam to do what you can't do.
I've said to you, me and you will go one-on-one. So
why? I want all the audience to hear what you're saying, because every claim you're making is fallacious.
All right,
absurd.
Okay,
listen.
Uncle Ty, let me give it to you like this, okay? So you have the pharaoh. One of the pharaohs is saying Nabtawi,
Lord of the two lands.
All I'm asking for is, did they say Egypt? Did they use the word that you've been using all day long? Don't forget, I'm not arguing with you, Kalam. I hope you see where I stand. I'm not arguing with you. I'm saying when you read a book and you quoted a rabbi, and you did. I didn't argue with the word. So
Yeah.
I just asked a simple question. It's like me saying, did Usain Bolt, did he say he's the weightlifting champion of the world? That's all I'm asking.
Okay.
If
So,
you said, you say yes. If you didn't, you
so,
say no. That's
so,
all I'm asking.
so obviously, they're not saying Egypt because they're not speaking English. They're not saying Lord because
Just
they're
say,
not
just
speaking.
brother, just say yes or no.
I'm
Come
giving
on,
you the answer.
come
So if
on.
we're talking about are they saying Lord and are they saying Egypt? Then I was saying no because they're not speaking English. Does it translate to that? Yes,
Oh, okay. Here we go. So it is a translation now. It's a translation service then, right?
of course.
Okay, so we can do translations. So family, I guess you hear Brother Kalam. He said translations are all right to do. So if I said the Egyptians are also Yoruba, because that's the translation, I hope you can handle that. All right. If I say, look, our book actually tells us that Egypt is the servant of the Most High alongside Israel. And don't forget, we didn't invent the word Egypt because even Egypt didn't call themselves Egypt in our Bible. All right. So, but we don't mind. But when we ask you, you have a problem. So, if you're saying translations are all right, then that rounds up the subject right there. So, if they didn't use the word Egypt, and we know that somebody could be from Ethiopia and just say, yeah, we translate into Egyptians, or Egyptians can say, we translate into Ethiopians. So, in any case, we don't really have any distinction anymore, do we?
I don't know what that means,
Ah.
to be honest with you. But what's the point anyway?
The point is distinction. You know what distinction is? Like I said, we live in Britain, and I think there's 4 or 5 countries in Britain. We're all British. We're all Britons. If they meet us somewhere, you say, are you a Briton? They'll say, yeah. But they still got their own kind of like ethnicity, if you like. There's Palestine. Inside of the so-called landmass of Palestine, there you've got ethnicities in there. There's Europe. Inside of Europe, you've got ethnicities in there.
So if I'm getting you correctly, yeah. So yes, there clearly is loads of different ethnicities in the empire of Kemet. We've established that. Now, what's the next point?
The next point is, can you then be distinctively separate when you want to tell us whom exactly did Moses learn from? Because you see, if we go into the book, for example,
Yeah.
and we want to say Ethiopia learned from the people in the Bible, we would go and point it out to you that an Ethiopian asked an Israelite to teach him the scripture.
Okay.
An Israelite, not a Kemetian, not an Egyptian.
Okay.
We wouldn't use that big word because we would home in with distinction to let you know, okay, these people may be called Egyptians in a broader sense, but when it comes to distinction, it's actually an Israelite. That's the distinction I'm trying to make in there.
Okay. So we know that Moses was educated by Egyptians.
Oh, Brother Kalam, let's stop this. Here we go again. Let's leave this alone for today. Let's leave it because it's just repeating the same thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay, can I ask my question now then, since you want to leave it?
if you're gonna go with the distinction, Brother Kalam, I've made it clear already. Yeah. If you say in the Kemet, there are if you even said the person is a Copt, for example, that a Copt gave Moses that education, and the Copt is an Egyptian, the Copt is a Kemet. I can understand that.
Okay.
But you just saying Egypt
I
is
can
you
only
just
give you
you're just saying what you said 1 hour ago, which is
Okay.
like back again to
Um,
you know.
Uncle Ty, I can only give you what your Bible says, right? You're the Hebrew then. So you tell me, who did he learn from then? Because
Okay.
I'm only quoting to you what your Bible says. So
All
tell
right.
me, who did he learn from then?
All right. So what you're saying basically is you actually don't have anything if you don't have the Bible. That's what you're saying.
When it comes to the story of Moses, no, Moses does not exist outside of the biblical narrative.
And you do understand that the Bible is a collection of books by at least 60 people, right?
Exactly. So outside of the
So
biblical narrative and the Jewish tradition, right? Okay, and then goes into the Christian
don't forget, I'm here
and
also.
the
I'm a
Islamic
descendant of
tradition.
Moses.
Okay,
Don't forget
so
that I'm speaking too,
Abraham,
right?
There you go again, cutting them off. He's
outside of
talking and you're just
Abrahamic
cutting them off.
traditions,
Jesus.
Moses does not exist in any written form as a part of history. Okay,
Well,
so
okay.
therefore, yes, we have to go into the Hebraic tradition to learn about Moses. Otherwise, we don't find anything about Moses.
But that's perfectly all right. That's perfect. There's nothing wrong with 66 people and thousands of secondary witnesses who provide information. Because don't forget, we went into what evidence is, and it includes information. And information just means facts, reports, and so on and so forth. So
Okay, can I ask my question now? Because I don't really want to wait for 5 hours.
I round up with Kalam since he,
Yeah,
Kalam.
but it's dragging on, TY.
All right, come on my
It's
channel.
like he answers your question, you give him one question. No, just no, hold on.
No,
Can
no,
you just hold on, TY? Can I speak or not?
Rich kid, come
Just
on my
I'm just asking you one question because you said to
Brother-
Kalam,
brother-
you see,
brother
you don't let
Kalam.
people talk.
Brother
You
Kalam.
talk for an hour, but when soon as I talk, you're scared.
No, I want you
You're
to
scared. You're
So what
scared.
I said,
You're
come
scared.
on.
No, I'm asking you one question. I don't need to come on your channel.
I'll
One,
answer
just
it.
answer the question for the people to edify them, Ty. Was when
I'll
Moses got the
boy.
Torah from God, what language was it written in? That's the question.
Okay, family, both on Brother Kalam's
You're
channel.
running from me, Ty. You're
But
running
you-
from me. Quack, 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 quack. You're running from me, Ty. You're running. Because
just-
everything you're saying is fallacious. You've produced no evidence of anything you're saying.
If somebody says come on my channel, does that mean they're running?
Why? So you can kick me off every 5 minutes and you can tell me stories about Scotland and England and there was a stone find in Greek. And if I'm asking you a simple question. What language was the Torah written in? Just edify us.
This is a scared secretary slash scholar. Scared secretary slash scholar. I've come on Brother Kalam's channel. He's not kicking me off every 5 minutes. So and he's been on my channel and he wasn't kicked off for 1 second. We went like 2 or 3 hours. So come on my channel.
Ty, I've got a wife. I haven't got time to be standing up for 18 hours on live stream. Yeah? I'm just asking you a simple question. What language was the Torah written in that Moses got from God? Was it Yoruba or was it Paleo Hebrew? Yes or no?
Okay, do me a favor. Swear to me that I haven't already answered your question. Swear to me that I haven't
Answer it now to edify the 170 people that's in the room. Just answer the question.
Swear to me that I haven't answered it.
Okay, did you tell Gabs that it was Yoruba?
Now come on the channel. Okay, let's see. Come on the channel.
So you can't answer the question.
Can we round up here? I think I need to go on my channel because this brother needs a lengthy answer. I think he finds comfort.
Kalam, could you just answer the question for me, please?
He finds comfort in being in your company. And I want him to feel as exposed as possible. So come on my channel.
Okay, so is there anything before, because I want to go bed.
We're gonna leave it for now, me and you, Brother Kalam. We're gonna leave it for now. If you keep bringing up titles like this,
Ty, everyone in the chat room wants you to answer the question. Just answer the question. All you have to do, Ty, is just look like you said to Kalam. You said, bro, I'm asking you a simple question. Don't you know how to answer a simple question? So I'm asking you, Ty, what language did Moses get the Torah from when he went to the mountain? What language did God write the Torah in? Just tell us.
All right, let me see, Brother Kalam. Can I be a little bit disrespectful with some respect just for your panel? Or would you do it for me? Let me see how many people want the answer in your chat. If they want to hear the answer, can they type in number 7 on your chat? If can you tell them that, please?
Yep. So family, if you want to get the answer for the question, what language was the Torah written on the tablets when Moses came down off the button? Please type in number 7 now. Now. So I'm counting. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so there's over 20 people that's saying 7.
All right. Are they? You know, I've never come on your channel to do what I'm trying to do right now. But if they want to, because this brother here, he would pretend he has just one question, but it will lead to another one. Yeah, and because you say you want to go to bed, I want him to come on my channel so it can be as lengthy as possible. All right.
If you answer this question, I promise I won't
Brother,
go into another question. I won't ask you another question. I just want you to edify the crowd what language the Torah is written in, and I won't ask you another question. I promise.
Well, let me then ask you this quick question. Did you say I've answered it you before? Did you say I've answered you
I heard
before?
it from someone else. So I want it from the source's
What
mouth.
did they say? What did they say?
They said that you said that when Moses went up onto the mountain, the language that God wrote in was Yoruba.
So that's it, family. You got it.
So is that what it was written in then?
You said it, isn't it? You said it. If so,
No, I'm asking you, Ty. Don't say I said it. Did you say that? Are you? Oh my God.
Well, look, people, listen now. Listen to this, yeah? People, when they hear you say it, they want an explanation, don't they? You think people just want a word? They want an explanation, don't they? Now, family on Brother Kalab's channel, if you want an explanation, please give me a number 8. If you want an explanation, give me a number.
People are here now. They've got work tomorrow. All you have to do is confirm what I'm saying. Was the Bible, when Moses went up onto the mountain, God wrote the text on tablets because you said it wasn't a papyrus. When he came down, was it the language of the Yoruba that was written on those tablets? Yes or no?
Brother Kalam, do me a favor, because you said you're going to bed. If people on your channel, if they know that just saying the word won't be enough and they want to hear the explanation, please ask them to give you a number. Just so you know why I don't need to answer on your channel right now. Because you know, this is how it is.
It just said to Kalam, type up 7. Everyone typed in 7 and you're still not answering the question.
Yeah,
you're butt dancing. In America, they say you're butt dancing, and that's what you're doing right now.
If I say, if they want to hear the answer, they said yes. Now, if they want an explanation is different to an answer. All right. So if Brother Kalam wants to care to ask them, if they want an explanation and Brother Kalam wants to go to bed, how are we going to fix that? How are we going to do that?
Hi, when I asked Ezra earlier, was the Bible, Ezra, who claimed to be an Hebrew Israelite, when I asked him, what language was the Bible written in? He clearly said to me, Paleo-Hebrew. And that's why he studies Paleo-Hebrew, because he's a Hebrew Israelite. I'm asking you, when Moses came down with the Torah, was Ezra correct? You said, no, he wasn't, because there's no such thing as Paleo-Hebrew. You said that it wasn't written in the modern Hebrew. Then I heard from Gabs that you said it was written in Yoruba, but that's hearsay. So I'm asking you to confirm it. When Moses went up onto the mountain and received the tablets, what language was it written in?
You're a nice secretary, and I haven't even started paying you yet. So what I would say is to Brother Kalam, as he needs to go, if people want an explanation, which I believe they're entitled to, they have to come somewhere we can talk a little bit lengthy, even if it's two of them. Yeah? So that's what I want to achieve right here. Because I've spent like 24 hours talking to Brother Rich Kid.
So even though you said to the people to type in 7 if they want to hear the answer, now you're going to be disingenuous and say, I'm not going to answer it because you can't answer it. Right?
You've told them the answer. You've told them the answer.
They want to hear it from your mouth.
No, what they want now is an explanation. An explanation. Because I don't do answers without explanation.
Okay.
I don't do answers without explanation. Kalam doesn't do answers without explanation. You don't do answers without explanation. So I deserve to give them answers with explanation.
Okay, so Uncle Tan, real quickly then, are you going to give the explanation here, or do you want to give it on your channel?
On my channel. Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right, family. I guess we're not going to get on here, so I don't want to force the situation. We're going to wait to get it on Uncle Ty's channel. But before that happens, I wanted to know with Uncle Ty. Uncle Ty, I just got a few questions to ask you. Okay. I wanted to know, was Moses learning all the wisdom of the Egyptians?
That's what the book says. What's the clarity is what the book doesn't say. All right. Now you see, when we write as Israelites, yeah. When we can brother Rich Kid, is your mic muted? It's a bit echoey. Let me just right. When you see, when we write from our own perspective, all right, in the Bible, we say Israelites had a feast to the Lord. Yeah. We don't mean the kind of foods everybody else eats, but it's not clear to see that from a non-Israelite perspective. They wouldn't see that. So when we say wisdom, what are we talking about? That's the thing that I think that's got you brothers bogged down, because you thinking as brother Rich Kid put in and brother Gabs put in the other time, not even Gabs, I think one other brother, he said, so I don't even know if it's you, so all the paganism and all the thing idolatry we do, so you're telling us it's you who taught us then. See, but that's not the wisdom we're talking about. So the wisdom that Moses would have learned would be anything that anyone can learn from anybody. I'm learning a whole lot of wisdom.
Where's your source from that? Where's your source?
Let me finish. I'm learning a whole lot of wisdom from English people. All right. I'm learning a whole lot of wisdom from Chinese people. I'm learning a whole lot of wisdom from Asian people. All right. But all of them,
You're embarrassing Hebrew Israelites.
all of them are under Britain. All of them are under the UK. All right. So, but when we put it, they would talk, they would say Thai learned a whole lot of wisdom from the people of the UK, from the people of Britain. So, but now who is the people of Britain? It's all those individuals in there, not just one person. So you guys need to get it. You need to get a spread out horizontal education on this thing.
Hi, to most Hebrew Israelites that I speak to, you're embarrassing them. You're an embarrassment for Hebrew Israelite. You're not a good representation because you can't answer us. You go around dancing. We know what this is called. It's called rhetoric. It's an art. But you won't answer a simple question like, what language was the Torah written in? What was it? Stop telling me about Scotland and people come to my show just to hear. You could have explained that already. What language was it, Ty?
In December, there's going to be a heavyweight boxing fight between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder.
Kalam, I'm going to wish you good night, my brother.
All right. They're going to do a fight in December. Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. If you look at them right now, they're advertising the fight every single day. So I'm advertising my statement and my answer. And if people want to watch the fight, they can come on the HIT. That's all I got to say.
Okay, Uncle Ty. So let me just finish with you real quickly. So you said that. So I want to know: did Egyptians teach Moses? Yes or no? Just like real quick fire questions.
Of course, they teach Moses. Yes.
Okay. So and he learned the wisdom of the Egyptians.
That's what our book says. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Another question I want to just ask you, just to see. Did Moses go to Cush?
What do you mean, Cush?
Meaning
Cush.
the land
Cush.
of Midian.
Say that again.
The land of Midian.
Well, I don't remember what you mean, Cush or Midian, like that. I don't remember. Can you maybe remind me? I know, because I know you got a pointed. I know you got a pointed question. So I'll make the question the focus rather than the detail. If you know, otherwise I'll just have to check. I don't want to waste your time doing that. Yeah.
After he killed the Egyptian, okay.
Oh yeah, Midian. Right. Midian, you mean? Yeah, of course.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so he sojourned in Midian for 40 years, correct?
Right.
All right. did he learn anything in Midian?
Brother, we've already answered the biggest question right there, which was about Egypt, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's half
So,
of
yeah,
his knowledge.
no, I know you got something you're leading to, and I really don't mind. I really don't mind. See what I'm trying to do with you. Yeah, brother Rick, mute your mic. Otherwise, it's
It's me. It's me.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, I'm not trying to dispute with you that Moses or Israelites didn't learn from anybody. That's not my dispute right now. I think you're forgetting what my whole dispute is from the beginning. All right, so I can concede to whatever you find written in our scriptures. You don't need to waste your time repeating it because I'll always concede to that. What I can't concede to is the inference that you make and educate and miseducate the people with. The miseducation based on that inference is what I'm against. You understand my point?
So my inference that Kemet, sorry, the so my inference is that the Torah is a byproduct of Kemetic thought.
All right, listen to this.
And hold on, let me just quickly say, all right, I want to know, is the Torah a product of Moses's mind?
Of Moses' what?
Mind.
Not only mind. No, it's also listen, hold on. It's also you must remember we go by our scriptures, all right? This is a person who himself met his creator. All right, you must understand that, because that's one thing you seem to always want to leave out. And maybe this is the problem now, because you're gonna say you don't. I don't know if you're gonna say you don't believe that or you believe that. Yeah, but you must understand, if you're gonna be quoting our book, Moses actually met his creator. I think you're underplaying the importance and significance of that exchange. And don't forget, our creator always tells us that before we were even formed, he already knew us. The creator already knew Moses. Everybody he wants to use, he already knows them before they were even formed. Even some of the pharaohs who were used to be in the way of Israel, some of them were raised up on his orders. Not to say they don't have a choice, but to say in the case of Moses, he has a divine connection to his creator that gives him wisdom that has to be used between human beings. And when you look at the example of our Christ, you can't be flesh and not mingle with flesh. You cannot be flesh and not participate in what human flesh participates in. So it's a waste of time asking if you learned something, if you didn't learn something. It's a waste of time. The point is, you want to pin it down to say, by that extension, the Bible is Egyptian and Egypt is the Bible. But we have a distinction there. We don't agree with that rubbish, because the Bible's already made it clear that we have a distinct nation. We have a distinct spiritual nation and a spiritual journey and a spiritual destination, which you as Kemets, you don't have nothing like that.
Kalam, can I ask you a question before I go?
Okay.
So that's my answer, brother Kalam.
Thanks for that, Kalam, can I ask you a question before we
Go on.
Look,
there's a baby. Hold on, Ty. I'm speaking now. There's a baby that was brought to Egypt in some roads. They put the baby on and the Pharaoh daughters find this little baby. That's how the story goes, right? The baby spends 40 years in that country. All we're asking you is, what did he learn?
I won't take brother Rich Kid's answers here. Like I said, I want to deal with him by himself on my channel. Yeah?
Okay.
That's
You'd
all right.
have to pay him. You'd have to pay him for that time.
All right, Rich Kid, let me just hold you out there for a minute. All right. So we're now saying, yeah. So we have an Egyptian man, okay, that is writing. Actually, let me not say that. Let me just say we have a man that is writing, okay. And in order to write, you must use your hands. And in order to use your hands, okay, you must send the impulses from your mind to your hand to write whatever you're writing, right? Okay. So, what can we safely say that we've got an Egyptianized man who is inspired by God writing the Bible or the Torah? Can we say that?
No, we can't say that. No, we can't say that.
All right. Which statement is wrong?
Well, you're using the word Egypt again, which we dealt with like an hour ago,
So
and now
is
you're
Moses?
superimposing it. You're reimposing it back into the discourse without any clarification.
All right. Okay. Let me try to do this. Look. Okay. Moses was an Egyptian. I'm saying we got.
Moses is not an Egyptian.
Listen to me.
Moses happens to be where you called the Kemet Empire.
All right. So Moses is an Egyptian.
Is that correct?
Can I say this? Moses is an Egyptianized.
Kalam, is that correct?
Uncle Ty, I'm speaking like I can't hear you when you're speaking. All right. Moses is an Egyptianized man. Is that false or is that true?
Yeah, that's false. Yeah, that's false.
Okay. So Moses is not an Egyptianized man. Can you tell me why it's false?
Because first and foremost, he has his own nation, which is called Israel. And the children of Israel were in Egypt 400 years. And that's one thing you haven't actually included into your narrative and into your description of a person that has his own identity and own nation and own culture and own people and own destiny in a land that you call Egypt, which you're not sure what you want to call it. Egypt, Kemet, you're not sure what you want to call it. It's the same way black people are in America today. They are American, but they're Israelites, they're Hamites, they're Ishmaelites, they're everything. They have their own destiny, which is separate from the landmass of America or from the other people in America, from all the other so-called nations that those people come from. You have to make that distinction when you're talking about a distinct tribe. You have to make that distinction. You say you're doing scholarly work. This is the platform you should be doing, Baba Kalam. Make the distinction first.
Sorry. I need somebody else to take over. I'm just doing something at present. Forgive me, family. Forgive me. Continue, guys.
I don't really know where to say it to because he just keeps getting around in circles, to be honest.
Your Uncle Ty, man, do some good trolling today, bro. Good entertainment, man.
All right. I'm going to leave right now, family.
Your Uncle Ty, I got a question, man. Don't leave right now.
Baba Kalam is left, so I don't talk.
No, he said that he was looking for something.
Yeah, I don't talk to secretaries and placeholders.
That's ad hominem is good, but all I was asking was a question and you refused to answer it.
And I've invited you, with all due respect.
Hi, I haven't got 6-7 hours to be sitting up.
Then
you can just answer a simple question.
Then you do as your boss says.
There's no other Hebrew Israelite that I've spoken to that have told me contrary towards what you're saying.
Well, I've always told you, Brother Ty is different to all of us.
I spoke to 2 Messianic Hebrews last night. I asked them, they told me. But for you want people to come over to your channel just to answer a simple question. I think that's disingenuous.
It's not a simple question. Anybody who's been on our channel before, they know that we've spent countless hours talking about these things. And if you want me to be a liar, all you need to do is go and check the channel.
I just want you to simply say to the people, the Old Testament that Moses received was written in Yoruba language and not Hebrew. That's what I want you to say, but you don't want to say it.
No, I want to say it, but I want to say it where people have a chance to hear the explanation. And Brother Kalam says he's rounding up shortly, and I don't want to be left in a lurch where people think, oh, that's it, I've gone. Because people are looking for an excuse to run anyway. You see, the way you guys run, your listeners also want to run. They wish they could. They wish they had somewhere to hide right.
Don't insult the audience, T. They're intelligent people in the audience.
It's just real. Conor McGregor got done by, and his followers, you know, were looking for somewhere to run. It's just normal. It's normal. There's nothing to do. It's no. It's not. It's not. We're not talking about insulting anyone. I don't know them. It's just true. There's many of them right now. You know, just insulting me. So they know themselves. The ones who are human, they know what I'm talking about. The ones who are there that these words will hurt, they know they know it's a righteous statement I made. They're looking for a pillow to hide their heads under right now, and they can't. So come on the HIT where you're gonna get knocked out with truth. That's all I got to say. Shalom,
knocked out with the truth, blood.
Shalom to family. Who is this vegetable?
Vegeta, man, Prince of all saints, man. How are you, brother?
Who is the vegetable over there? Who is this vegetable?
Vegeta, Prince of all saints, man.
You're vegetating right now, brother. You're vegetating. If you line up with a poor kid,
I ain't gonna
secretary, you're getting done right. Come on the HIT, brothers. Come on the HIT. Come and get hit. Come and get hit. Brothers, you know we talk and we joke. Come on the HIT and let's come on the HIT.
Yeah, Uncle
is tired. He needs to go to bed. I do this thing longhand because it's what I got to give you, brothers. So come on the HIT. All my respect to Brother Kalam. All my respect to Brother Kalam and all those people in the chat right now. For those of you who want to hear the explanation, I don't want you to like me. I just want you to hear the explanation. You can come on our channel. Yeah? So come on the channel and let's do it. So shalom to Brother Kalam and everybody else right now.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, just want to tell the people, man, it's better to be vegetarian than eat swine, innit? None of that swine around it.
What does that mean?
Bro, if you've been following the...
I can't hear you, Vegeta. Your mic's muffled a bit.
No, I'm saying, if you've been following the, what do you call it, storyline, you would know that eating vegetables is better than eating swine.
Are you alluding to that Thai eats pork?
No, it's what you call a indirect punch, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
My man tried to take a shot at me. You know what I mean? I was actually listening to that.
Okay. Where's Kalam? Is he gone?
Don't know, man.
I think Ezra was just saying, yeah, he does. Thai eats pork. How can he eat pork? This is what I mean. Thai is not a Hebrew Israelite. He's not a Hebrew Israelite. The reason why he can't answer the question, because you can't say that the Torah was written in Yoruba language, and then when I ask you for the source, you can't give it to me. No other Hebrew Israelite that I speak to say that. That's why I'm trying to ascertain what language. How does he know that Moses came down with the tablets that was written in Yoruba? You have to have source for me to go and look at to verify what you're saying. You can't just say it. I mean, anyone believes that kind of nonsense. It's beyond me. It's a joke. You cannot just go to court and say this is what it is, and when they ask you to provide the evidence, you go, we don't have it. Then if you don't have it, it doesn't exist. So he couldn't really tell the people that the Bible was written in Yoruba because he can't verify it, and that's why he couldn't answer. And when you find someone disingenuous like that, I don't really kind of communicate with him in that sense.
He said he got the answers only on his channel, though, innit?
Yeah, but every time I go on Thai channel and I ask him these questions, and when it comes down to the nitty gritty, he kicks me. Every time I go on, it's like I get disconnected like 10 times. You get frustrated with that. So if he wants to actually debate me, he can pay, or he can debate Bob the Builder, because he's not in Kalam's class, or he's not in Zara or anyone's class. He needs to go and debate other Hebrew Israelites on what language the Bible was written in, and let me listen to that.
Yeah, man. To be honest, that's out of my jurisdiction, to be honest. I'm just trolling as well, but there's some serious questions in it.
Yeah,
That
of
need
course,
serious
because
answers.
of course you can't. How am I going to study anything you say if I don't have nothing to go on? You can't just say things and then just expect people to just believe it. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
So
What
if
happened to
people want to
Kalam, man?
jump on that, they can jump on that. I think Kalam went to do something still, so I'm not really too sure.
I think Kalam got put to sleep, bro.
And Kalam was just tired. It's like he
Yeah, he
was
got
saying he
put.
was tired for a long time. So. I'm gonna hop off anyway, man. So peace to the family and when Kalam comes back. Peace to you.
Hey, yo, man, Lexi's saying that he didn't kick you, that he just has issues with his hangout, innit? But it seems like it's only his hangout. Hey, yo, Blood. Yo, Callum. Yeah, man. Let me drop some serious wisdom right now, yeah? Let me talk to you, man, about hoaxism. You know what hoax is? You know that guy, Sarah Gavi? That man, he believes in these scientists, innit? The scientist pisses on his bald head and tells him it's raining, and he believes the scientist, bro. What I'm telling you folks is, go and do your own research, your own investigation. Don't believe in these scientists, blood. You see me? Scientists are pissing on that guy's bald head and telling him it's raining, it's boring, and all them bloody flipping nursery rhymes. Telling you, blood, man. Stick to your man, bro. You guys got a culture of your own, bro. You don't need to flipping trust these scientists, bro. These so-called devils, bro. You know what I'm talking about. You get me? Trust me, blood. My man going around saying, you know, I mean, Kemet is unbeatable, this, that. What happened when Alexander came to Kemet? Huh? When Alexander came to Kemet, you man's turned him into your own. You man's turned him into a god. When Alexander, do you know that movie with Angelina Jolie? That's a hoax, bro. Made up bullshit. When Alexander came to the Punjab, he got beaten up. Then check the history, bro. King Poros or Raja Purava, what we call him. He gave that guy a beat down, man. Telling you, bro, these mans are making up fairy tales, bro. Straight up. People eating swine and that, man. Yo, man, too many dick riders as well, bro, in the very flipping comment section. I see them dick riders there. Yeah. Hey, yo, I see that go, hell yeah. I don't want to disrespect you right now, innit? So I say you be quiet. Yeah. Anti-black racism as usual. What do you mean? I'm just speaking the truth right now, blood. You got these bloody flipping scientists and elitists. You know that guy Sarah Gavi said, I'm talking the truth right now, yeah? Sarah Gavi was having a debate with a guy called Baby Face Bashir. You know that Imam Bashir? And in that debate, he said, according to linguistics, the oldest languages is click languages. Click. How the flip do you know that, blood? How do you know that the oldest languages is a click languages? You know, that's all like, how do you know? You don't have no MP3s, you don't have no phonetics. It's bullshit, blood.
Yo, family tree. Everybody's gone, yeah?
Yeah, man.
Okay, okay. So you're saying I can go to my bed successfully?
You know what, bro? I was giving a bedtime story,
Okay, okay, okay.
but we continue.
All right. Let me give everybody a bedtime story so everybody can fall asleep. Ready? All right. Oh, let him run, yeah? Let him run. Do you want me to let him on? Keep him on? Okay. All right. Let me keep him on then. When you lot have had enough of him, just type in 9, okay? And I'll just check back in again and then I'll close down the show, okay? I was gonna tell you one of my special bedtime stories, but it's all right. All right, never mind. All right, go ahead, man. Keep going. Yeah, G, keep going.
Yeah,
Oh
is that
shit, the
the
people
big?
tapping in 9 already though.
Nah, you see, right? That guy El Jainal, his name used to be Vaginal.
All right, go on, keep
But then
doing your thing, man. I'm gonna be in the back.
I gave him an L. I gave that guy L. They had to put L next to his name, innit? But his name right there, bro. His name right there is El Jainal. You get me, blood? Real AB. Anyway, man, back to that bloody flipping debate, yeah? My man said that the oldest languages, according to linguistics, is click languages, yeah? How the flip you prove that, bro? You all had kids in it. We all got kids, bro. Nieces, nephews. Do you see your kids making click sounds or real sounds? It's bullshit, bro. Turning in, man. Yeah. Real talk there. I saw Miss London Yoruba talking some hack the box, man. Talking outside of the box. But real talk, another thing, yeah. Miss London Yoruba. We know that you watching too much sci-fi movies. Way too many sci-fi movies talking about, you know what I mean, that the white man was made in a laboratory in Kemet. Where you get these, bro? You know what I mean? Terminator 2, Robocop, Android 70, Dr. Gyro, bro. Dr. Gyro making the androids, bro. That's when, you know what I'm saying, but nobody believes in that bullcrap, man. Go and Google it. They write down Tamahu. Yeah, man. You ain't seen that shit before? Hey, bro, they say, yeah, the Kemets, I swear now, one of the Kemet dudes said that the white man was made in a laboratory in ancient Egypt. Bro, I swear down, blood. You know the Dragon Ball Z Android Saga? That's where they got that shit from. You know what I'm saying? Before Dragon Ball Z, no one was talking about that. When Dr. Gyro made them ready flipping androids, these men are talking about, yo, these ancient Egyptians made the white man. Then you blood, the Tamahu. Yo, Mrs. Southeast, man, I'm telling you, man, the Kemet guys, go and Google this. Tamahu, the Tamahu. Yeah, they say that they made the white man in a laboratory. Trust me, blood. I'm telling you, these, you know what they said, blood? They said that the earth, all right, the black man came from outer space to earth. Earth used to be the planet of the apes. Yeah. And then they repopulated it. And then somehow the white man was made in a laboratory. Bro, I'm telling you that these men are making up fairy tales, man. You know what I'm saying? One minute I see someone talking some crap and who's that? Who's that? Boy needs to further his research in his own faith before. Yo, Javier, get out of here, man. You're a Somali woman. I could talk to you right now in the Somali language. Naya Amos Somaha Adiga Hadal Af Har Bullshit Half Somaha Iskadaf Amos. Yeah, go and translate that, man. I just dropped some gems right now in Somali language for you, bro. Flip out of here. Bro, Naeem Aurangzeb, I'm telling you, bro. These chemists, bro, some of these chemists, man, fairy tales, bro, telling you. You know that guy, I swear down, blood. This Sarah Gavi guy, I'm telling you the facts right there, man. the man would rather trust the scientists than trust the truth. You know what I'm saying? The scientist is pissing on his bald head, telling him that it's raining. Yeah. And Zara's believing that bullshit. Hook, line, and sinker. Honestly, yeah, who this guy right chart saying Islam got the biggest fairy tales? What are you talking about, bro? Bro, man. Nah, I don't want no piece of Sarah, man. That guy can do his own thing, bro. I saw him in the park one day, bro. Almost got blinded, blood. The sun shined off his bald head. Trust me, bro. That guy's bald head is a weapon, bro. Distraction. That's why people think, man, trust me. You can't look Sarah in the eye, man. It's like Medusa. You know what I mean? You have to keep your eyes closed when you debate Sarah. The guy got bloody flipping sun gleaming off his forehead, bro. Blinding his opponents. And then his opponents look a bit, daisy. And then people start writing in the chat box, hey, yo, look, you man. Telling you, bro, that's his tactics, man. Distraction tactics, bro. Bald-headed. You know what I mean? That guy's forehead is used as a bloody flipping future weapon, bro. Blind your opponents with the bald head. That guy puts extra Vaseline on his bald head before he comes to the park, bro. You see that shit? My man got bloody flipping 3 tubs of Vaseline, put it on his bloody bald head, made that shit shiny as possible. Yeah. And then he stands right. When you stand, he don't stand behind the sun. He stands in front of the sun, bro. You get me, blood? He stands in front of the sun. Yeah. And then his opponent's getting bloody flipping blinded and shit, bro. Trust me. It's tactics, bro. Distraction tactics, man. You know what I mean? Debating is not as bloody flipping, it's not verbal only, bro. There's other aspects going on. Trust me, blood. And he debates people light skinned, innit? White skin. Because he knows there's a sun, you know what I mean? The sun, you know what I mean? White man suffering in the sun and that. Yo, Ty's channel is going on, man. I don't know. Should we shut down this show and go to Ty's channel? What you lot saying, blood? Yo, I see Hawiya A, you know what I mean? My Somali sister. She got the very pum-pums out, cheerleading. She's booty clapping right there, blood. You need to cut down on the booty clapping, you know what I'm saying? This is an honest chat room. This is Titans TV, bro. We don't talk shit around it. We don't talk shit around it. Yo, man, I'm gonna turn them into vegetables. What you saying, Lexi? Yeah, let's head over to Uncle Ty's channel. Bro, man, I'm sweating down, bro. Yeah. I'm gonna do a show on Titans TV soon. You could go and Google this yourself, you know what I mean? I don't need to do it. Bro. Homosexuality in Kemet. Yeah. And then you go and watch that bloody flipping audio show that Sarah Garvey was on. And you're gonna see that man was implementing the same rituals. Trust me, I ain't gonna go further details, bro. That's just a trailer. That there is just a trailer, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna give you the full movie right now. Yeah, you know what, bro? I hope Sarah. Yeah, we make dua for Sarah Garvey, man. You know what I'm saying? A man's hairline very flipping starts behind his head, blood. You get me? Last time Sarah Garvey came to the park with his hair afro, yeah. The only way to see Sarah Garvey's hairline is through bird's eye view. You can't see that shit from forward, man. You can't see that shit from no angle other than bird's eye view, man. My man's hairline is bloody flipping. Push way back, brother. Trust me, blood. His hairline and the geometry of pyramids are some of the most bloody flipping advanced level mathematics that ever took place. Telling you something. Speak the truth around here, bro. Hey, yo, Ty shows there, man. Yo, my brother Kemo bin Israel, man. You know what I'm talking about, bro. Some of these hairlines, I'm telling you what it is, bro. Yeah? Hairlines are getting affected because of pornography. You get me? You go and look at our fathers, bro, and our uncles and our grandfathers. Our older generation had good hairline on the head. Yeah. And the reason is because they were not exposed to pornography as much as the people are today, in it. It lowers your testosterone levels, messes your head up. Like, telling you, bro. Oh, you say that Rastafari Dante, man. I'm talking about laws of averages, man. You know what I'm saying? Mans are fapping off to bloody pornography all day. You get me? And their hairline is getting messed up in the process, man. They can't even grow beards no more, man. Patched up beards and shit, man. Seriously. I'm from the Punjab, man. I was born with a beard, man. You know what I'm saying? What's this Hawiya A saying? You worry about your people, please, instead of the next man. Yo, Vajia, you keep worrying about me, Hawiya A. You know what I'm saying? So obviously you're not living by your own advice. And I'm telling you that as an older brother. Yo, Modine, man, I swear down, bro. The guy used to be a rapper back in the day, man. You know what I mean? SBTV. Back in the day things, bro. You know what I mean? Listen, I think Hawiya A, I think everyone should put Hawiya A on ignore right now. Because, you know what I'm saying? He sounds a bit too bitter, bro. We all gonna put Hawiya A on ignore. You get me? How do you put this person on ignore? Yeah, there you go. Matter of fact, I'm gonna report Hawiya A for bloody flipping kissing ass too much, bro. Report, and I've got the options here: unwanted commercial content or spam, pornography or sexual explicit material, hate speech. Where is booty clapping and kissing ass? Because Hawiya A is kissing too much ass around him. I need to report Hawiya A. Harassment and bullying. I'm gonna report. All right. This is harassing me, bro. Yo,
What's going on here? I'm hearing booty, clapping ass, all sorts. I want to go to my bed. So, family, I don't know what's going on here.
yo,
Vegeta, we give thanks.
I give,
Or,
I apologize for. I'm gonna go steep myself, man. Yo, thank you, Kalam. You got some good knowledge here,
no
bro.
problem. I can't wait to listen back at this and hear what's happening.
You might have to edit it, bro.
Jeez. All right. All right, family. Peace and love, family. Peace and love. That bedtime story is X-rated right now, so it's best not. After I heard clapping ass, clap that ass for me, ma. That issue is funny. Oh, sugar. Yeah, family tree now. Let me go. Man. I don't know. I think you don't got enough of that X-rated talk from Vegeta already. So let me not encourage that. Callum anti-venom needed. Talking about Sarah like he's an enemy. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, buddy. Jeez. All right, family. Anyway, peace and love, family. Peace and love. See, Sinead O'Connor converted to Islam. Yeah, I saw that. She just looked like she belongs in a mental institute. To be honest with you, I heard her, singing the Shahada and all sorts. Yeah, and I'm just closing this out now. So yeah, if you guys want to jump in though, here's the link. But we're going off air. All right, so you lot can always jump in. We're going off air. So let me say peace and love to you guys, family. Peace and love. Catch you guys on the other side. Oh man.